This is an international podcast transmission. Is anyone out there? If you're listening, you've reached the No Fixed Agenda podcast. Could you be naked and afraid out in the middle of nowhere?
Well, I could. I don't know about the person that's with me, though. He or she might have a hard time keeping their hands off me.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know if I'd want to.
What, be naked and afraid, dude?
No, I don't think so.
Why not, man?
No.
No? You don't want your willy hanging around there and
that doesn't really bother me.
Let a mosquito come out and bite you in the tip of your pee-pee?
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think about, bro.
I just don't know if I'd want to do the naked and afraid thing. More respect to people that do it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I guess what I don't want, you know how I'm bougie. I am bougie.
What?
The day I die.
You from the Viore shorts to
so my feet get sensitive walking on. So I need to, I couldn't do that. I have to fathom some palm leaf slippers really quick. And
how many slippers would you make, dude? Because that's the number one bitch.
That's the question. Because I'd have to have a couple of them. I'd have to have different styles.
He would have his running slippers, his workout slippers, his out and about slippers.
Yeah, I can't just have one pair of palm leaf fathomed slippers out there. But that would be the first thing. Yeah, I couldn't do naked and afraid.
Come on. I think I could. I think I would acclimate to it, but I think why couldn't you do it other than you being bougie? You would get over being bougie, dude. You would totally get over being bougie.
I would totally get over being bougie. I get it. I guess I just don't. As you had said, I guess I just don't want to deal with maybe sleeping naked, and then the next thing you know, something comes up and just bites you in the dick, and you're just like, wow.
Literally.
Yeah, I don't. I just couldn't do it. I don't really know. Now, granted, if I was forced to do it and whatever, I would do it. I'd go out and do it if I needed to.
Yeah, well,
but. Do I have any inkling of wanting to go out there and do that? No, not whatsoever.
What would make... Now you got me thinking, dude. What would necessitate you to strip your clothes off in the middle of the wilderness to survive? We're walking around the wilderness, and then you go, shit! Start stripping down butt ass naked. What would necessitate you to do that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Absolutely nothing.
No idea. But you know who does do the naked and afraid?
Mr. Justin
True.
Yeah, baby.
And he joins us today.
Yes, he does.
And boy, did he bring the heat.
Oh, and he actually got us to shut up, dude.
It was nice. The stories he gave us.
Yeah, I mean, he had millions of stories to tell, and none of them were boring.
Luckily, he kept his clothes on the entire time.
Well, damn, I was hoping for other.
I was hoping that he would be naked the entire time.
Oh, dude, I was hoping he would just show up shirtless, bro.
Yeah,
at least.
I'm a little disappointed. I mean,
Justin.
I mean, my wife couldn't get away from looking at the guy's ass the entire time. She's like, I don't mind that they completely follow him around and show his Morgan Freeman. If you watch the episode, you'll know what I mean. So it was interesting to finally be able to talk to somebody that has been on a show like that.
Yeah.
That is completely out of the ordinary, and only a handful of people in this world have ever had a chance to do that.
Yeah.
It was cool. Like from the production side to him getting prepared and ready to go for it to fucking being out there and
doing the damn thing.
What iguana tastes like. What kind of shit did they had to deal with the alligators? Like
he didn't want to eat turtle. I said, dude, turtle's delicious.
I still can't believe you've eaten turtle.
It's fucking delicious, bro. It's so good.
All right.
It's so fucking good. Don't hate me, animal lovers. I was a kid, okay? I was a kid when it happened, but it was delicious. But yeah, he had a bunch of stories, dude. He actually kept us quiet for a long time. A lot of good insights. And I, honest to God, no spoiler alerts because I don't want to give that here in the beginning, man.
We tried.
We tried. It was like, Jeff's like, no spoiler alerts. And I was like I was biting my teeth, dude. Like,
so let me just say this before we get into finish your statement.
Yeah.
I will say there's spoilers in this episode.
So go watch it.
What I would suggest is you stop listening to us right now.
Pause.
Go turn on the Discovery Channel. You can find it on Max, I believe, or Max or Discovery through your service provider, and watch Naked and Afraid. I believe the episode is called "The Legend Returns" or "The Legend," somewhere around there. It is unbelievable, and it shows you everything that we are talking about in this episode.
No.
Come back to the podcast, hit the play button. And listen into what Justin has to say, because we tried, and I tried to personally myself.
First of all, you called me out on it.
I did. I called you out on it.
And then you fucking went it all out.
I know. I couldn't. It was
I was
so
like, wait,
hard.
what the fuck, dude?
It was so hard. I tried. I gave you a hard time about it, and then I became the asshole that did the spoilers. So right away, it's going to be
how graceful I was to like forgive you immediately.
I know, whatever. So spoiler alert ahead. If you haven't seen his episode and want to see it before you listen to this, we do talk about everything from the very beginning to the very end and like post-production stuff, and even just acclimating back into it, and conversations he's had with the individuals he was with. So it covers everything, and it was really just fun to listen to and kind of get that really cool perspective of it.
We even covered things that were not shown on the show.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. He gave us kind of some insight with it. And I mean, you could tell how much information there was. This episode is the longest episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
But I think this episode will also keep you entertained the entire time. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy. It was Justin is always fun to talk with, and he shoots it straight the entire time, regardless of what we're talking about. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is Justin True, Naked and Afraid. The No Fixed Agenda podcast is brought to you by Bubs Naturals. Their mission is simple: live better, longer. Bubs helps fuel people to reach their maximum human potential through supplements sourced from nature's highest quality ingredients, all by giving 10% of profits back to charity. That's right, people, 10% back to charity. Learn more about their NSF for Sport certified collagen peptides and electrolyte drink mix at bubsnaturals.com. Jay True. Good seeing you, buddy.
Let's get it. What's happening, fellas?
What's happening?
So you're back home in Leeds, yeah? You're not here in the States right now. You're not working right now. You're just doing knucklehead shit over there.
On my semi-retirement of knucklehead. I'm cooling down, preparing for the next round, really.
Yeah, buddy.
Is that something you do between all your crazy shits that you do? Do you just fucking go home and just chill and spend some time?
No.
Yeah, I could not see that in you. That's what I was wondering. Hey, dude, I don't know. Sometimes I got to do that shit. I got a million things going on. I'm like, fuck, I just want to be home for fucking 24 hours.
It's all I want to do. I just want to be home. And then all of a sudden, a buddy hits me up and he's, hey, man, you want to do a duo, a partners, high rocks at the end of the month? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then, the next weekend, literally the weekend after it, I have a powerlifting competition that I signed up for. So I'm like, yeah, because these two totally are similar. And
yes.
100% there. Yes.
Running an AK and lifting fucking your PR, the deadlifts is the fucking.
And so I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I was so close to just relaxing. And then now I'm just like, no, here we go. Back to it.
I will say, though, from the Hyrox perspective, you should be able to crush it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of movements that you already are doing in a lot of your other stuff.
Is that your first one?
Yeah.
This will be his first one. And the running thing is easy
your
for
jam.
you.
Yeah.
That's your jam.
Yeah.
You do that all the time anyway. So I think overall, you'll be fine with the Hyrox thing.
Yeah, which one are you doing?
So I guess it's not like a mock-up. So I guess it's not in the Hyrox like arc. There's one here in Leeds. My buddy who's doing this might be his third. I think he's done 1 partners with his lady and then 2 solo. Wow. And those are like the actual events, I guess. Mm-hmm. But this is like a mock-up of it. I don't know.
Is it like a simulation? Yes.
So it's a simulation one.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, I would like to do a real one, but it was just right here in Leeds, and I'm not around enough to plan stuff, man. If you tell me something tomorrow, I'm like, yeah, I'm set. You tell me 6 months from now.
Bro, September 9th, we're talking about going to Acapulco to do a High Rocks.
Oh, yeah. Where's Acapulco, Mexico? Where's that?
Yes. It's in front of beach, bro.
Damn.
That might be something. And
That's all you, buddy. I'm not going.
Come on, man.
No.
I got to get you down to fucking Mexico, bro.
No.
Big,
Yeah,
tall,
man, we can show you around.
fucking Mexican, bro.
No, I'm not interested.
Come on, bro.
No.
Some tacos.
No, what I need to do is I need to go over to London and do one over there.
I'm down for that.
That way,
you blend in.
That way, I blend in. But then one in person of interest can join in the charade.
Oh, I'm down. I'll fucking join on that one.
I don't know if I got a place for you out in Mexico that you can stay now. It's probably still up.
Oh yeah,
that's
probably
right,
is.
dude. That's right.
Is.
The fucking mosquito net? No, dude.
Bro, I built that shit to last, man.
You're talking about the
Naked and Afraid home, bro.
You're talking about the Naked and Afraid, the lake house, are you?
Yep. Yeah, dude, we got two. That's a big property, man. We got a home front and we got a lake house.
Yeah.
So if you click on Airbnb in the week, I'll let you know. I'll send you
There
it.
you go.
I'm down, dude. I am so fucking down. But dude, I would love to get Justin on a High Rocks spot. That'd be fucking awesome.
It would be
Anaheim,
awesome.
dude. Anaheim, sure. December, whatever. Bring you back to the States, man.
It'll be fun, man.
You talk about your lakefront property.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
You built
from scratch.
Dude. Honestly, I'm still impressed.
Yeah, and I'm quite interested. I'll get into that in a second because I'm sure I've been watching your Instagram and you're doing all of the Q&As throughout. How much of the questions, has there been any real questions about the dock you guys built and the little stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Because from the engineer perspective, yes, you built that thing pretty solid. So have you gotten a lot of questions from that?
So the demographic is like a lot more of the boomer generation, it seems. The show's been on for 18 seasons.
Yeah.
So you get that like Facebook group, like they're going nuts, man. They are the ones who are like hammering you with everything. And I only respond to the positivity of it. I don't care. People are talking shit. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. But it's like people think we're like really dumb. They're like, did you know this? I'm like, oh, no idea. Bro, of course I fucking knew. It was just,
they assume because you fucking decided to stay in the fucking forest butt-ass naked with some fucking random stranger that you'd be dumb. But no, it actually takes some intestinal fortitude and some intelligence, for sure.
Yeah, people are like, they're so dumb. Why didn't they use the net, the mosquito net, and the fishing net? And I'm like, I didn't fucking think about that.
Yeah, I wonder.
Of course. Shit. What were we thinking? Yeah. But no, it was like, so back with the dock was, a lot of people haven't asked like the structural integrity of it. But like at that point, I lost a lot of weight, but still I'm a big guy. You see me jump off that thing. And one of my buddies from back in California, he watched it. He's after you were like spitting off just based on my engineer mindset. He's the second you jumped off, I wanted to see that fucker collapse. But he was like, it didn't budge. Like when I jumped off it, I launched off of it. It did not move a single bit. And like, that even impressed me. When I came up and I looked at it, I was like, damn, this thing is solid. Yeah. We put some work on it, man. And just like to think that you could build that with literally your bare hands and a machete is insane.
Yeah, that's nuts,
it was cool. Yeah. Like we basically there was like 4 corners and they show like a diagram on it of we put basically like a tripod system. I had the bipod system going in, and then Laura was like, let's throw a third one. So in any which way it moves, in any angle, it'll be protected, versus mine was just like bilateral. And so hers would be a lot more secure that way. So we used both of our minds together to keep enhancing it. And then from there, we basically just built the 2 runners and then built a bunch of slats down the middle or across the middle. And then I threw in 2 bilateral posts, which kind of ended up being with one sitting over it, our runner over it in the middle. So that way we could almost divide the dock into 2. So my slats were wedged in between the tripods in the front and the bilateral X in the middle. And so they were like literally wedged in there tight. Like you couldn't just pull them out. And I'm sitting in there, man. I'm like lifting this thing up over my head, like trying to lock them in. It's day like 17 or 18 without food, man. And we crushed it. And then we put a freaking awning on it because we're like, why not?
So let's rewind the tape here a little bit for anybody jumping into this conversation and wants to hear the background. I remember talking to you. It would have been I think this time last year, I think, right? When you had actually,
he was applying.
You were going on, you were going through the process.
The selection process.
Wasn't it around this time? It was around.
Yeah. So I started the interview. Like I submitted my application.
Yeah. So how did that come about? Did you actually get approached to submit something, or did you say, "Oh, you know what? This is something I want to try"? So that's always because that's the weird thing with quote unquote game shows, right? Or these type of reality stuff is you get caught onto one show you end up doing, and then the next thing you know, you're on their list of candidates.
Your roster.
They're on the roster. People like to do this stuff, and they get submitted that way. So which direction did it take with you?
So I had a casting director or casting like person who goes for a casting, and they like just find people and they put up ads all the time on their stories. So I had one of them on my like friends list already because somebody had told them about me previously for something. And so they started following me. I started following them. And then it just came to be where they're like, oh, hey, we have this really cool show. And I was like, oh, what's up? And they sent me the link to apply. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll apply, and threw out my application. So I think from just talking with them, they just thought I'd be a good fit. And then from there, it just kind of expedited. Because I know I was at the tail end of it. When I've seen the episodes that have come out and somebody was like, oh my God, it's been a year today since we were out there. And I was like, damn, you're talking like April? I'm like, I didn't go out till late fall or late summer, early fall. And I'm like, I was just getting started. So their application process is wild. Yeah,
it's very, I would assume it has to be pretty extensive for them so they can have a roster of people.
Dude, so much. I can't tell you how many things I signed, how many tests I had to take, like all the health exams I had to do it was wild. Yeah.
I'm sure there's
dude, that's what intrigues me, dude.
Yeah. I'm sure you have to take the physical, there's a physical aspect of it. Did you have to take like a mental test too to show where you were as far as the depression and how you can handle some of this stuff?
But I'm good at lying through that.
Oh, you are.
I fucking love Justin.
Dude, I can pass these tests for work, and I'm like, where'd you get your fucking PhD?
Have you ever had thoughts of suicide? Fuck no.
Not at all, dude.
No.
So did you know
what? Who are we suing?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
What?
So did you know? Once you got on, did they tell you immediately where you're going to be at? Or they were just like, nope, we're just it's undisclosed location until we drop you off type of thing?
No, so it wasn't that. They let you know. From what I've heard, like people in the past, some people have said they know like a month or two, maybe. I've never heard of 2 months. I was like a couple weeks ahead of time. They're like, hey, obviously like they send you your flight. And if you have to take medical stuff, go take shots or vaccinations.
Vaccinations for being in a foreign country.
Yeah. And so they give you that list of, hey, this is where you're going. This is what you need to get. This is what we recommend you getting, and so on and so forth. And then you start setting up.
Yeah.
So you knew 2 weeks ahead of that you were going to be in that part of the country.
Yeah.
And then, so the selection process, when you go in through, like from the time that you applied to the time you actually showed up, how long was that process?
Oh, shoot. I think I started talking to them like probably February or March.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it was honestly like probably around a month before I went, they were like, because they had told me, they're like, hey, in February or March, they're like, hey, this is going to be sometime between like June and September or November, like some crazy window. Wow. And I was just like, how do I plan for this? Luckily, my job has that sort of flexibility, which might have been something that helped me out. But I just was like, dude, this is wild for people to actually be able to keep this open and just take 3 weeks off of work or 4 weeks.
Yeah. How does that mean?
Yeah. You didn't just take 3 weeks though, right? There's no way.
No. Yeah. You go out there. We were really out there for a couple days before, really not doing maybe 2 days before. And then, you're out the day after you're done, you're pretty much out. Like you just head back.
So you were out there before the filming started just to see the landscape, or what was that all about?
No, just to get you in and just to process you in through everything, get you set up like, hey, this is how it's going to go. This is what you're going to do. Give us your items and then we'll give you one. And basically just that stuff. Another pre-physical, honestly. Like I did 2 more physicals once I showed up. Wow. They're really ready for it. Because once you're out there, like a lot of people think there's like a safety net or, oh, there's this. No, dude, 100%. Like we're in it.
Oh, real? That was my question.
So Omar and I had conversations about this, and you spoke about the items that you're going to take out there, right? So I thought it was quite interesting that you decided to take a mosquito net
and a pot. Right?
So did you end up taking a pot and a mosquito net?
No, so like how the show's progressed over the years from how I've watched it is the first few seasons, it was very raw. It was like each person brings one. And then just as far as content goes, like everybody had the same issue of like, how do we make a fire out of rubbing two sticks?
Yeah.
And no matter how many people were like, I'm so good at it, they all suck. and so finally, it's just like when you're in a real life situation, like a lot of people who go on the show is like bow hunters and they're like, I'm such a good bow hunter. It's when you hunt something and stalk it for a year and you like have a hut and everything, then you're really good. But like out there, it's completely different. And so it really shocks people like how real it gets and how different it is from everyday life. And so as the show progressed, they would be like, okay, we need a new content. So everybody's complaining about fire. And so, all right, let's give them a fire starter or a pot. Because it was hard to get a pot. If I brought a fire starter and you brought a pot, then that's all we have. We don't have a blade. So we have to make a blade. So it gets really primitive at that point, which is fine. But sometimes they'd be like a fire starter and a blade. And then how do we capture water? And that was like, it's obviously really fun and see how people are like going to navigate that battle. But at the end of the day, it starts becoming really repetitive is how I see it from my point of view, from how production would be. And so now it's got to the point of like, all right, we're going to give you two things, which is I would assume it's always going to be a pot and a fire starter. I'm not told that. I just assume that is it. And so basically you were given those two things and then we pick our stuff.
Yeah. Pay up, buddy.
Yeah.
Pay up.
I was like,
I called it.
There's no way, dude. They got to fucking give like if Justin had a pot and a fucking
I called it.
And then you did.
Yeah.
All right, I'll pay up. I'll pay up. So they gave you two extra items basically.
Yeah, just because now it creates a little bit more creativity. So instead of like us having the same problem of how do we capture water and boil it and how do we start a fire? Yeah. At that point, it's okay, let's give them these. And we knocked it out fast. Like day one, we have fire, we have water. And now it's all right. Now we get to build shit. We get to actually be creative in like our hunting strategies, our structures that we build. And I guess you just get a little bit more different content looking at it from that perspective. And I think like Jeff, as the projects that like Hector and I have been on over the years of trying to like create these like mini docs or anything, I'm starting to see like how like production and editing goes, and you just need to keep spicing it up. So I'm looking at it from that angle. It makes sense.
Yeah, I would assume that you're going to spend the greater majority of your time collecting water first and then creating shelter and all that other stuff. But if you already have a pot, pretty easy, and you're around a land of water, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, so, how many times do you want to see people struggle to capture water?
Exactly. It kind of loses the luster of the show a 100%. Little bit. So what I know this because you had told me about it. So we talk about the mosquito net. Mm-hmm. Did I tell you where he got the mosquito net at?
No.
Fucking Jeff Bezos, baby. Right? Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon.
So Amazon everything.
So he's going out to the Yucatan, the middle of nowhere, butt naked, and he decides to just get a mosquito net from Amazon and not which I thought was even added to the layer of Justin, actually, to be honest with you. So it was
where did you get the fucker delivered to your house? Where did you get it delivered to?
Oh, you want to hear? So beforehand, I'm in England, like we can't get blades. So I know I can't even get like a machete here, right? And so I went and visited my uncle in Malta the week before. And so I'm out with him in Malta, and I couldn't fly from Malta to the Yucatan. So I had to come back to London. I literally do this. I fly from Malta back into London. I get an Uber to an Amazon locker that's next to the airport. I pick it up from the Amazon locker, and then I had to drive to a second Amazon locker because something else got delivered there. And then I get my Uber back to the hotel by the airport and then fly out the next morning. And so I got my item delivered there. It was good, man. I don't have any survival stuff. I have my little fire starter here. I went and I have a video. I need to put it on Instagram. I literally went outside, gathered twigs and sticks, and brought it inside on a piece of cardboard and started trying to make fire inside because I didn't want to be outside. I'm the most anti-survivalist ever.
Dude, exactly. Yeah. And you're the one who fucking laughs. And I was like, my buddy, did you watch it? He goes, I just watched it. Just released it. I said, I got to go watch it.
No spoilers here.
Dude.
No spoilers. People have got to go watch this. Yeah. It's like the number 2 most watched Naked and Afraid episode right now.
You got a fucking sexy ass
man like this.
So you got it. So don't ruin it for anybody.
I'm not, dude. I'm not.
It's good, man.
To that point, if you're listening in and you haven't seen the episode yet, we will try not to spoil anything.
It's gonna be hard, dude.
It's gonna be hard.
going to be really fucking hard.
You know what the problem is? Just go fucking watch the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Dude. Exactly. If you haven't watched it, shame on you. That's all I'm saying. Shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got the fire. You got your things. They gave you a knife, or you bring a knife. You didn't bring a knife.
No. So my partner brought a knife.
Your partner. Yeah. Malik brought the bite.
Yeah. So Malik made his knife out of a Chevy truck axle.
Oh shit! I did not, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
They didn't cover that in the show, dude. No, go ahead.
It's really cool. So he made his knife. Yeah, it was cool, and so did Laura. But Laura's like a freaking wizard, so she made hers.
Yeah, I don't think she's ever bought anything from Amazon.
Yeah.
just straight up makes everything.
Yeah, I don't think she's ever bought anything from Amazon, dude. That's pretty. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I'm 100% confident on that one. but yeah, dude. So he left you with the knife when he left, dude.
Yeah, like some people, I guess, can take their thing with them if they really want to be like a dick about it. But it wasn't even a question. Like some people try to be really like, I'll leave you this. Bro, I didn't even think about asking him because I didn't think he would take it. If he took it, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, leave you guys out here to fend for yourselves.
You're on your own.
There's no question about it. It was really cool, and it helped so much. Early on, it was so useful because honestly, that's how it was like a cheat code. Like we could do double the work. While obviously not to spoil the first bit, but like you saw the production that we had going on in the first bit was insane, and we couldn't have done that with two. So I don't know how day one would have gone if we had one blade.
Yeah, that was curious. So you guys got embedded into the Yucatan. You're out there, you got your clothes off, you've gone into your area where you're meeting people, and all of a sudden you guys are all together and it starts raining.
Dude,
that was kind of one of the things that Des and I were watching this thing. It's okay, you're like all of a sudden, because you know how rain can get down there,
bro,
and how gnarly it can be, and you guys are out there trying to gather palm branches,
start a fire
rain, and he's trying to build a camp. Like, how long did the rain go on? Because they made it seem like it went on for 30 minutes, and you guys pushed through the 30 minutes.
Out there, it's on the Yucatan Peninsula, so you can see like storms obviously probably come over pretty quick. It follows the Gulf Stream, but yeah, dude, we like. My analogy is imagine driving your car through a thunderstorm and rain is pouring down. The skies just opened up and you don't have windshield wipers. That's how thick it was. Like on camera, it didn't look that bad.
Oh, it didn't. But you guys kept on.
When Laura and I were out there chopping down palm fronds, it was so heavy over our eyes, our hair, or just the water coming down here. We couldn't see. And I'm like trying to look at her and find her. And we're like, yes, this is so fucking awesome. And we're like fucking screaming, going ape shit. And the crew is just, what the fuck, man? These guys are nuts. Like they're wearing waterproof stuff, getting absolutely soaked still. It was coming down so hard. And like, it was it was insane. And it probably went on for a few hours, man, to the point of our pot of water. When we were chopping it, we put our pot of water out to catch fresh water. Right. And usually you don't want to do that where there's, let's say, monkeys. We didn't have any, but basically because like where monkeys will shit and pee on leaves
trees,
and that'll wash into your water. But for us, we didn't have that worry. So we took the palm fronds that we chopped down and made like a funnel over our pot. And in probably 5 minutes, man, we had a pot full of fresh water. It was raining so freaking heavy. That's how much got caught that quick. And then somehow we yank all the stuff back to the camp. And that was a hike. That hike sucked every day to go get stuff.
Yeah. So what was the distance between where you guys were going, even down to the water? You guys, like where you guys were like trying to capture like turtles and everything else. It seemed like you had to walk a while.
Yeah, we did. The bigger one was closer, but the smaller one that we built the dock on was actually pretty far in comparison to them. So it's tough because like you're barefoot. So sometimes you're just walking slow. You're just making sure you're like, it's the worst thing you want to do is lose your feet on this. So I'm lucky that I have pretty tough feet, I guess, from everything else I've done. Do the ultras, like your feet just become plasters. Like Madagascar, my feet just became bricks. That was pretty nice. I didn't have to adapt to the like subtle feet, whatever. Yeah. So it wasn't too bad walking, but getting some days about day 3 or day 4, your feet get really supple and it starts like getting tender to walk. And then eventually like that kind of adapts and you're good to go. But yeah, carrying those stuff back, man, like you're dragging palm fronds, you're trying not to get them torn up because they're going to be your roof. Yeah. And so it's like, you have to finesse things, but also I'm just the muscle. Like we had a perfect team of Malik was the brain, Laura was the expert, and I was just the muscle. You tell me to do something, I'm carrying everything in one go. Let's go.
Yeah. I think that was a perfect team. I thought about that too when you guys were jamming. I was like, dude, this is a perfect squad. Back in the day, there was only 2 of you guys though, right? So when that recently changed.
No, so it's still the premise of the show. This was a new. Laura hasn't been on it for 6 years or something. She's been gone for ages, and so this was like a mentorship episode. So basically, like me and Malik, I only thought I was getting one partner. So I turn around the corner and I just see a dude, and I'm like, dude, let's go, because. You see all the guys on there. I don't want to stare at a naked dude and I'm like, all right, guys, we have to not be like that. Yeah. You come off douchey and just, all right, man, I'm not here to like stare at your dong all day. I'm here to survive. Like whether it's a woman, I'm still going to be respectful and not stare. So to me, I'm like, if I got a dude, guys do dumb shit all the time, man. We'll go throw rocks at a tree or something, or throw rocks like in the skipping rocks all day instead of survive. And we're dudes. We'll be like, yeah, sure, let's go do dumb shit. If I'm with a woman, women are super analytical and like precise with everything. I'm like, all right, then we're going to be super like high wired and get stuff done. So either way, it's a win-win. And so when I saw a dude, I was just like, oh man, let's go. We're going to be broing out for 21 days. It's going to be sick. And all of a sudden we're talking, and then here comes Laura. What's up, guys? And we're like, fuck, dude.
Oh, like, hell yeah.
I saw her turn the corner. I was like, dude, it's on. We are going to, I know who she is. And I'm like, yeah, dude, this is about to be the sickest episode of all time.
That's crazy that you guys didn't even know that there's going to be a third person. Like that's a nice little mix up.
Yeah, you did not know who your partners were going to be.
No, not at all, man. It's so weird too, because like for months and months, I'm thinking about this person nonstop every single day. I'm thinking of the conversations we're having together and how we're going to navigate. Like, all I care about is the strategy in anything. I don't care how anything is actually done. It's the strategy. The rest is irrelevant. And like right there is, I now put a face to this person who I've known for months in my head. It's so weird. I'm like, dude, I've been thinking about you nonstop for months, but yet I don't know who you are. And it's the weirdest thing to me. And maybe it's just how my mind works. Maybe some people don't hyper focus on those conversations and how to communicate, but that's all I cared about.
Yeah, I think that's what made you last. Yeah. Again, that definitely helped you in your strategy for sure. But were you hoping for a female or male, or you just didn't care?
To me, honestly, gave 2 shits about it. Like, all I'm there for is, I don't mean, somebody called me out on this the other day about I'm there to win. I'm not saying win the challenge, but win the day, be successful. Yeah. Anything, any opportunity or anything against all odds, anything that comes in our way, we're going to overcome that and complete the task. The task at hand is 21 days. Nothing else in the world matters to me. Food doesn't matter to me. Like water obviously will, because we have to have it, but like food doesn't matter. I don't care about anything but like winning. I see 21 days. That's it. That's all I care about. Anybody else is irrelevant to me.
That's the thing. It's not like you guys are winning money from this thing.
No,
not at all.
You're winning it to prove to yourself that you can come out and do something like this. Yeah. And actually figure shit out as you go and everything else. I get your point of winning the day on that scenario. And some people are pretty more just straight literal with winning, so to speak. But
yeah, because then they take it away from the challenge of, oh, you missed the whole point of surviving and enjoying the process. Like, no, I loved it. Like, I'm not turning this into like just a basketball game, but like at the end of the day, man, like my basketball, no pun intended, basketball, but it just is that's the verbiage I use for it, because that's all that matters to me is completing this. Because at the end of the day, like that's what it is.
Yeah. It's funny you bring the basketball thing, and I'm glad. Did you see that second? They cut that out of the show, which I
did not see it.
After on the back end, I really wish they would have kept that in, because that was like the more playful, playful. Like, this is the shit that goes on when you don't really see it. Like, they ended up fathoming a basketball hoop, and we're playing.
I still got the ball.
You still got the ball.
But I do. When you guys were trying to weave, you guys made a ball, right? I remember that.
Yeah. We made like a legit ball. Here, I'm gonna get it.
You brought the ball back with.
Hey, you got to bring back a souvenir of some sort. It's not like he's bringing one of the crocodiles with him. Wow, yes. Dude. Look at that thing.
Dude, this thing is solid, like crazy.
Damn, that's cool.
Yep. So man, we honestly, there probably wasn't much for them to film, because we shot hoops for maybe a couple minutes and we were so winded, dude. We were like,
depleted, right?
Huh?
Yeah. You're so depleted.
Yeah, we shoot a couple free throws, like probably for 10 minutes and not even. She's like, all right, I'm lightheaded. I'm like, yeah, I can't see anything. I can't see anything. It's funny, man.
So how long did you go without food, dude?
What was it about?
How many more days? Yeah.
Almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, we have these little like guanacoste seeds, like they look like elephant ears that she points out that her and Malik foraged a ton. And so we had a little bit of those, and you roast them, they pop, and then you eat them, and they're cool. It's kind of helps like your psyche to be able to chew and think you're eating. And I'm not one to people complain about calories on the show. This isn't enough, and I'm like, I pointed out, I'm like, this is 0.001 of a calorie, and that's just me like taking the piss. Like, I don't care. Like, you could have this or not. I don't care. When I was in Madagascar, the girl that we were with, the three of us, one was a chick, she had this much water left in her bottle, and I had no water the entire day going through the desert. And she's like, oh, I have no water too. And she shows me, I was like, give me it then. If that's no water, just give me it. And she's, no, I'll have it. I'm like, yeah, then shut up. You have water. In this situation, people that with that in food, they're like, oh, but this isn't enough. I'm not saying that the nuts weren't enough. It's just like you're burning more calories to go get them than what it takes to actually eat them.
Then you're taking
and so, for your body to process it, to go get it, and to obviously sit over the fire and making a fire and stoking it, you're sweating out buckets because the heat index is 140 degrees out there because the humidity and the temperature. Yeah. So it just was counterproductive, but it was good for your psyche in this situation. And so we actually found these like little tomatillos that were like half of a pea size that we forage and gather and make. Malik made like a little paste out of them, like a little salsa with nuts and stuff, and like bushes that we found and cactuses that we ate. But for that part, man, like it was little nibbles, but mostly the 2 weeks without anything substantial. And that was that iguana that was like maybe 150 altogether.
Right. Yeah. So what does iguana taste like, bro? I gotta know.
Dude, it's cliche, but chicken, bro.
Dude, come on.
Well, I was gonna say it probably tastes a little bit like alligator in a sense.
Yeah, probably.
Alligator's a little bit more like a tangy taste than chicken is.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, it's a reptile,
like a gamey chicken. So I would assume when we were watching, I was like, and you started eating, I was like, yeah, it's got to taste like alligator.
Dude, like I would assume that iguana would taste like more like a turtle. And turtle taste to me is like a fatty beef.
You've had turtle before?
I've had turtle before, yeah.
Really? Oh, man.
Yes.
How? When have you had turtle?
Dude, I was in Mexico, bro. I was young, man. They gave us turtle soup. It was freaking delicious.
Oh
very good. Oh, it's so good. It was so good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say.
There you go, Justin. You can get it from him that the turtle's okay.
So it's turtle
because you're
eating iguana and anything's like when you're not eating anything's game. That's all I'm saying.
No, I get it.
I've had turtle. I've had pigeon.
I've had pigeon.
Yeah, pigeon. Dude, anything.
It's just I think turtle is one of those things where you just don't take it as, I want to eat that. Even if you're hungry, like it's just one of those animals. And I think also the way the turtle is too, it's like, it's hard to get the meat from it because you can't really, everything that's underneath the shell is all like the organs and stuff. So there's not a ton of meat.
Yeah, it was very fatty and cartilagey and beef tasting to me, dude.
Yeah, man. I was not looking forward to almost every day. We pulled out the trap every day.
No.
And honestly, I was crossing my fingers in my head that there was no turtle.
I was almost going to say you could see a sense of relief in your face every single time that you went there. Des pointed that out to me. She's like, does it look like he's actually excited there was no turtle in there? I was like, yeah.
Because he would have had to eat turtle, dude.
I could see it in your face. We were like,
that's awesome. Dude, because like you think about it, man, that turtle has gone his whole life living with a 10-foot gator and he's survived. All he does is turtle up and he's safe. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, one day,
three assholes go out to
a gringo comes in with a blade and just.
I know, right?
Like, dude, that's low, man. He's gone his whole life thinking he has.
What did he ever do?
Yeah. He's like, dude, I got this shit figured out. Someone comes in, I just turtle up. All of a sudden, with a machete. Come on. Come on. I can't kill a turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So
sorry.
I do want to get into the alligator, but that kind of goes along with the ocean or the lake shore house that you guys built.
Yeah. Our lake house.
Yeah. Your lake house.
Lake house.
So from a sleeping perspective, I thought that's quite interesting. I saw on one of the questions that came through on Instagram was about the sleeping. And you had stated that Lauren actually had dug out. She leveled out some of the dirt to make it easier to sleep on. What was everything?
In the shelter.
In the shelter, yeah.
Well, what was the last part you were going to say?
I was going to say, because you're the shit that you're sleeping on. And because I remember you saying that you actually slept pretty decent,
dude,
most of the time. So talk about the sleeping situation there and going through, and especially with the way you guys had the mosquito net issue the first night versus what it ended up being.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
So what we did like the first night, and that's what they wanted to use the mosquito net as like a fishing net as well. And that's where this communication problem comes in with a lot of people, is that they just go, no, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, that you need to have a conversation. So I'm like, hey, how about we like figure this out and do this? And we come with a compromise of, we haven't tried anything else, and we're still getting the mosquito net set up. And as we're trying to make our beds in the shelter every night, we're snagging the mosquito net, and we're seeing that it's tearing really easily. Mm-hmm. And then we go into the lagoon and we see one, there's a croc in one, and then there's possibly a croc in the other one. So really, like, how are we really going to throw a net out there or get around? And we see there's so much vegetation that if these palm fronds are snagging it, then everything's going to snag it and it's going to tear. So really quickly, we found out that like, all right, this just isn't going to be logical. And if we do use it, it's going to tear it. And then we're going to have to, we were processing like fibers from the Henneken plant out there. And so we were making like little ropes and string out of it. And we would have had to tie all like the little, we'd have to sew it back together. And so after 2 days, we just came up with, hey, let's just lock our tent down, or shelter down, like with the mosquito net, because the first night was so uncomfortable because they were crawling underneath it. They were coming through the opening because Malik was laying there trying to stoke the fire. So they're sneaking in all the time. And honestly, they're so small that some would go right through the holes of the mosquito net. Yeah. So we're like, all right, if this is happening on night one, like we can't risk, and it wasn't a horrible night's sleep. Like we had to get used to it for a bit and then we could get some sleep. But like, all right, if that was that, we don't want to ever replicate that. We want to have great sleep every single night and be able to move forward every day strong. So from there on, we just ex-nayed the whole like fishing net idea, and we locked it down with rocks around the edge. Eventually we dug like a moat around it that was really small, like just a little cup. And therefore like the palm stalks was the exact depth. So then we had the moat there, and then we had the palm frond sit on top of it with the net underneath it. So it sealed it off. And then from the front, Laura taught us how to make, if you have a stick like this long too, what you do is you chop a little bit of it like down to here, and it becomes a clothespin, legit clothespin.
Like a prong. Yeah.
Yeah. And so therefore, when we go to bed at night, we would clothespin up the front, and then Malik would just have a little hole at the bottom where he'd like feed logs in all night to keep stoking the fire. And then he would just fold it back over with a rock. And so eventually from there, like it was bulletproof, but we had our ground, and I don't know, man, like I'll sleep on anything. I don't really care. The first couple nights we had like just a nest of palm fronds all piled up. And then that was getting really difficult to bring in and out. Laura taught us how to make like basically almost like yoga mats. So we took the palm fronds and basically made like cells out of them, like individual cells. And so we got a bundle of them, made a cell. And then from the Henneken fibers, we would tie a loop around it. You get a really long Henneken fiber string. And it took hours to process. Like I had never done it before. And this is one of the things that Malik and I would have survived without her, but we would have been nowhere near as comfy, a whole different experience. We wouldn't have done this whole bed idea alone. The first night would have been as comfy. Like we would have had to grind it out. It would have been hard without her for sure, but we would have done it, but nowhere near the comfort level. And obviously just all the stuff we learned from it. And that's what the whole mentor episode is for. And so I don't think some legends on the show would even know how to do this stuff, some of it. It was so niche, and the way she thought of everything was just insane. And so we like made these bed rolls. We made several cells. And so in the morning, you would roll up your bed, and we had almost like a smoker over the fire. And so you put your mats over the fire. So therefore, the smoke would smoke out any spiders, scorpions, any bugs that would be living in it if we left them down on the ground. And therefore, when we put them back on our ground at night, they'd almost be heated from the day.
Nice.
And also, we made pillows as well. And so that was like, we just started
living in luxury over there.
Dude, we started leveling up our home every day. And I think by this time we already have 3 renditions of our fireplace. We had a pizza oven the first day just because like I was moving boulders, dude. We had 4 to 6 renditions of fireplaces. And then Laura, at one point later on in it, Jeff, you've seen it. So later on, she was like, hey, I'm going to level out the ground to make it like clean. Every day we pretty much cleaned our yard. Like we swept out like 4 feet or 4 or 5 feet behind the back, because there was snakes back there. There was like spiders or anything. So we swept that out so they wouldn't live in the brush right behind it. So it basically had a freaking property where we swept everything out. If our property or our front yard was getting dirty, we'd clean that out, make sure everything was tidy. We had building materials here. We had our pantry over here, like with our toothbrushes that we made. Like we had different parts of our house. And then we had like our hutch for all our knives and weapons and like spears. And she leveled out the ground. And then she's like, "Are you fucking sleeping in this hole?" And I was like, "What hole?" And we look in the shelter and she's like, "There's a fucking hole. You're sleeping in a hole every night." And I'm like, "I don't know. You are a psychopath." And I'm like, she's like, "Do you want me to fix it?" And I'm like, "No, it's too much work. Just leave it." And she's like, "I don't know how you're doing this. Why not?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm sleeping just fine. It's a divot of my hip now.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's fine."
Yeah, I've evolutionized into this hole. And yeah, dude, every day by day, our shelter got better and better. Sure, we had to keep fortifying the roof because the palm fronds would shrink up and then we'd have to just patch it with new ones. And dude, it was a nonstop process working on the house, but like we put that house together in one day. And then from there, it was just fine tuning.
So what you don't know is now Justin's got an Airbnb down there in Yucatan.
Well, you told him that, dude. I want to know how much it costs to stay there one night.
5 stars, baby. 5 stars.
I stay 21 days. I'll stay one night.
Yeah,
I'll stay
Jeff,
one night.
but here's the thing: I know Jeff will not break the house policies. Omar, don't you freaking kill my turtles, man! Turtles are off. Turtles are off limits.
Turtles off limits.
Turtles off limits. I swear to God.
I would have chased that fucking gator. Hey, I'm a fat boy. Oh, dude, that was the thing that I was like, you went 20 plus days without eating, or however many days you went. Dude, how much prep work did you do beforehand? Because I'm now watching your social media, you're eating butter and shit like that, dude. Was that like that butter video that you posted on Instagram, dude?
Yeah.
Was that like part of your prep work?
Yeah, it was more just for laughs, but I did it.
It's just him being him. That's the
I was like, fuck, dude.
Like, when you stick butter, okay, here we go.
Dude,
Yeah.
fuck.
Oh, well, the funniest part is when Laura and I were laying there one night, we're talking about what we did to prepare for it. And somehow, I don't know who said it first, but I was like, oh, let's say like I ate a stick of butter. And she's like, I ate a stick of butter. And we both, there's a video of her like in preparation for one of her challenges, sitting in like a bathtub, eating a stick of butter as well. And I'm like, dude, when everybody asked me how my partners were,
you couldn't ask for anybody better.
Dude, I got like the chick version of me.
Yeah.
Just up for anything, crazy shit. Like we couldn't have been any similar.
Yeah. That's so awesome, dude.
So you asked about talking about prep and everything, which I thought was quite interesting. You coming in at what, 230-ish?
224.
Yeah. So that's a pretty solid way to go into that. I look at Malik, and Malik rolled in at two, like maybe a 0.5% of body fat.
Yeah.
He came in at $180 or $160 or whatever. He came
140,
in.
I think.
Yeah.
It was 140.
140?
What I can't really figure out is going into that. And he says over and over again that he's got he's like high metabolism.
Yeah.
So
he started off with that. Yeah.
Which is kind of weird to me that you look at that going from all the physicals that you have to take going into it.
They will allow
that would
to do
almost kind of worry me a little bit, knowing that you're going to be out there for 21 days at max and you don't know when you're going to eat. Like you're going to be burning so much. And I know at the end, he ended up losing 30 pounds ish himself. And there's
so he was like $110, dude.
No, he lost about 10 to 12 or somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yes, but still for him.
Yeah. It's a lot. That's a big percentage of his weight.
That's a lot. Like,
yeah.
So that, I guess that's, and I'm sure that you and Lauren could see that as you're going in. And that's why he ended up having to get out of there a little bit earlier. But it was more of the
spoilers, bro.
I'm trying to.
Dude, it's so fucking hard. I told you it was hard, bro.
Just watch the fucking
episode. I told you it was hard. Exactly.
Just watch the fucking episode. I know.
Seen it?
I'm sorry. I know. We try. Maybe that'll just be the disclaimer at the beginning of the episode. Bro, it's fine. Whatever.
We're not very good at fucking holding secrets. No, horrible.
We're not. We're horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that's kind of one of the things I look at is like he went in at $140, and it's almost what's the mentality of that as you keep on just burning the shit.
Dude, I would have fucking scarfed like 20 hamburgers for the first 2 weeks or something like that every day. You got to be freaking. Yeah. So you normally float at what? Your normal weight?
Same. Like I try. I'm the same way. Like I struggle to put on any weight. I'm not naturally big now, but like I've worked really hard to get this weight. Jeff, when I was doing the triathlon, I was trying to get up to as high as I could. And I barely,
you were having a hard time with that. I remember that.
I was eating over 12,000 a day, like minimum.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was still hardly gaining anything. And I barely got to 230. Like it's really hard for me to gain weight. I just, over the however many years I've been doing this stuff, man, like it's slowly accumulated, but it's been years. You look at Malik, 140, no, maybe he came in a bit higher. I think Laura was 140.
I think I remember seeing he was like a 158, 160, bro.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Yeah, I think that's kind of what it was. Because I did make the analogy that him coming in is what I used to be at fighting. Like, it's crazy. The difference. Like, I used to be skinnier than that, and I understand how hard it is to gain weight. Like, I'm in the same boat. Obviously, it doesn't look like it now, but yeah, dude, it's tough, man. It's really tough to gain weight when you're like that. And it's the concept of, you got to eat more, and I'm eating a lot. It's like more. It's always more. Getting ready for the triathlon, I was throwing up before I went to bed most nights. Like, I was throwing up full garbanzo beans because I'm so like sick of food. Like, it stinks. Yeah, I'm hoping that talking to him again, we've been talking a lot this whole like last 2 weeks since it's launched, and I've got him on the butter hype now. So just something, man, and get him back out there. Cause honestly, he is so freaking skilled, dude. Some of the stuff he built out there was genius. And
yet they didn't really show a lot of it though. That's the problem.
Yeah. It's tough because I think if you do the average of 21 days over, we were lucky and we got an hour and 25 minutes. Most people only get 40. So you do 21 or 60, let's say 80 minutes, 80 and 90 minutes divided by 20. That's like 21. You barely get like 3 minutes a day. And so it's really hard to what days you show, what days you not. And then people are like, jump days. I'm like, it's 21 days. Like,
exactly.
Some days there's not interesting stuff, and it doesn't show us fetching water, but who wants to see 3 people fetching water every day? Things have to be left out. So and obviously like things that got unmade, like Laura and I made a really sick bird trap, like an insane bird trap, dude. It's crazy. But then he started making a fan. In the early days, he was making a pulley fan to put on our ceiling so it would keep all the bugs away, like the flies and stuff. We just sit there and pull it and it would just spin. That was his mind, was building stuff like that out there with nothing.
Jesus.
But you can't show an unfinished product. Like, how do you, from a content perspective, how do you build it, and then do you just never come back to it, or do you go, oh, the project doesn't come off good? So it would be really sick to somehow figure out how to articulate all of that, but unless you finish it, it doesn't work. And so when he left, I was like, damn it, dude, I got some big shoes to fill, because I don't know where he was going with this. My mind is somewhere else right now. And he was smart, man. So when he comes back with some more weight on him, dude, it's going to be fun, man. It'll be fun to see what he does.
I would assume there would be a point of diminishing return, right? If you're sitting there and you're out there with no food, all you got is water, and thank God you guys had water. But if you're creating stuff that you know it's going to burn calories, like a fan, you're going to have to manually manage that fan, dude.
Yeah.
That you're like, I'm already calorie depleted. Now I got to fucking pull a fan to just get the bugs out of me. Fuck that.
For us, it was a lot of just staying busy. Like, the dock was very counterproductive towards that goal of calorie. Like, dude, I cut down like probably a whole rainforest. I am definitely probably facing some heavy critics out there. This wasn't needed. Honestly, I burnt so many calories. We burnt so many calories doing that. The trips that we made back and forth carrying everything, there's a shot where she swims ahead because she's about, I think, 5'2" or 5'4". Wow. So if she would have carried the palm fronds out to the water, they would have got wet. So I was like, hey, I'm going to take all the palm fronds from our roof over my head, locked out like a shoulder press, sitting there trying to walk through the water after 18 days, actually, no, 20 days of not eating, because this is the last night, like shoulders locked out, and it's like a drop set. She's on top. She goes back to the shelter, or to the dock, is plucking them off the top of my pile. And it's like a drop set, just like, fuck, take more. And it's like exhausting. But the alternative is, we sit and we wait for a trap to go off. And we're like, we can either, and who knows, like, we don't want to be made to look like we just sat there all day. So we're just going to hustle. We're going to make this sick. Like, it doesn't matter if this is going to be, I mean, we finished the bird trap relatively towards the end, where it's like, this has no time to really soak into the landscape, get rid of our scent, and possibly get something. Like, the trap should be out there for a few days probably before they get something. It's not going to be right when you put it up, you'll get something. But it's still just like something to be productive and to just put stuff out there. It was fun. It kept us busy. And that was like the main thing, is just staying busy and staying focused versus I think a lot of people, like on this one last week, this guy kept saying, oh, there's too much downtime. There's too much downtime. I get in my head and I start thinking about my family, and then he left, and we didn't have downtime. Like,
yeah,
what do you do?
It is what you make of it. It's one of those things where, and being out there for 21 days, I'd be with you. I'd kind of want to be doing something. So that way you just forget that there's nothing going on. You can't control anything. It's like,
you can't think about the hunger.
Exactly.
You can't think about all the things that you're missing out on and all that stuff. I get busy hands, idle mind, or idle mind, busy hands, or whatever that saying goes. Yeah, but I cannot fathom that, dude. 21 days. I would survive very well in this current body state.
Same. Actually, I could use. Let's go out.
Let's go out, dude. I think we could do 30 days, bro.
Justin, we need to use your. Justin, we need to use your Airbnb.
Yeah.
I got your basketball.
Man, I had somebody said it to me the other day. They're like, dude, your end weight is my goal, like weight loss weight. And I was like, bro, I got this. I got the sauce. Let me know.
I got the special program.
I got the best special program for you. Here we go.
Yeah, I get the right idea, man. It might not be the best.
So you didn't gain any weight before you went out. You just kept the same and you just kept going, dude.
No, the bad part was I went to Malta before and I just lived off red wine for 4 or 5 days with my uncle. So that was bad. I know. Dude, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to gain weight. And then I go out to his place and I just drink wine for the next 4 days. I'm like, this is probably not the right prep. But yeah, that was pretty much my prep, man, is I just thought get big. And that was about it. I researched stuff, obviously, like how to build stuff and whatnot. But for the most part, it's you can research all you want, study all you want. But even when they tell you like, oh, maybe this area you'll be in, you don't know if it's going to be out there when you get there. Everything could change on a whim. Yeah. It's so crazy. And things look so similar. I'm not willing to forage for things that have a twin that can kill you. So there's things that look so similar. And I'm like, there's no point for me to study it. Like, there's no point. Back when I was in college, I remember I had a chemistry teacher and she's like, all right, I did my numbers. All I needed was like 74% to pass like the whole class. And our test was numbered with what each question was worth. So I literally go through, I mark 74 points that I know I can get. And basically I just studied like only chapters 1 through 8. I didn't study chapters 9 through 10 because it was like, I just know the last page is that. It doesn't make sense to study that. I'll study the big chunk. I did 74 points. I turned it into her and you didn't do the last 3 pages. I was like, don't need to. And she said, why? I got 74 points. She's like, you think you got 100% right of the 74? I'm like, yep. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And I was like, I won't see you next year. I was spot on.
Whether I fail or not, I'm not going to see you next year.
Yeah, 74 on the dot. And I'm just like, I don't see the point in putting effort towards things that aren't going to be like, that aren't guaranteed to work for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not going to waste time on this something that might be there, might not be. I'm like, I know what will be there is my mindset and my fat. Done.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. That was great. That was super impressive to me that you got that far. I was like, I thought about it. Like, Justin doesn't have any survival skills. None. And I was like, this fucking he's my fucking idol, dude.
He's just dumb enough just to know exactly what to do.
I don't think he's dumb at all, bro. I think he's crazy. There's that I give him. He's like a little fucking crazy. You might have a screw loose.
He knows where I'm coming from.
Yeah. But the thing was, is somebody online the other day, and I didn't quite get offended, but like low key, I was like, do you not hear my resume at the start? Like, I won't tell. I'm very self-deprecating. I don't need to talk myself up. I'll give you my resume and you can be surprised. You know what I mean? I know my resume is sick. I'll let you read it. And so some lady was like, I don't get how do they choose somebody to go on 21 days and 14 days? Because 14 is the fan challenge. And Justin True said he had no survival skills whatsoever. And I'm like, it's a bit self-deprecating. Like, I did survive a month in Madagascar off nothing. And I was like being hunted the whole time. But also, did you listen to my resume?
Yeah.
Nobody on the show touches my resume. I'm sorry, but they don't. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, but people are gonna pick at some of the most minute things that just because they can and because you're never going to see them for the most part. Yeah. I'm going to sit here and talk about this. And,
it's like the keyboard critics, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
The keyboard critics. The guy sitting in his fucking living room looking at your shit going, yeah, you're a dumbass. And you're like, am I?
I had a couple people, dude. Some guy was like, oh, you're an idiot for doing the doc. And I'm like, well, I've done dumber shit like Madagascar. He's, yeah, you must be really stupid. I was like, well, mom doesn't think so. It's like, dude, I just, I don't know, man. I like having fun. And I like what you said. People don't think you're going to like respond. And then I just like responding with kindness and like logic. And they're like, oh, you're not mad at me? I'm like, no, man, 100%. Like I know who I am. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, then eventually you win them. They become like a big fan. They're like, dude, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much. I'm like, again, dude, communication problems. Just communicate. Yeah. People just want that.
Based on this conversation and the keyboard critics, I know that a lot of people have said your boyfriend, Malik.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And because you wrote his name on the tree. Whatever. I don't fault you for the emotion aspect of it, because there's a lot that goes into it, and you're out there together, and you've been out there like doing this thing together, and to see somebody leave when they don't necessarily want to, think that I get the emotion aspect of it.
Yeah.
You carved his name in the tree. Dude. I'd like to know like the process with that, and
the mentality behind it.
Because I've heard some of the questions or some of the comments that you've stated that people have said to you about that.
Yeah.
So go talk me through that really quick.
So like as a team, like from day one, like we built the shelter so quick. We're like, hey, we were talking at night one. We're like, dude, why don't we just build a second property? And so that's where the lake house came in. We had dreamt that up since day one. We just didn't have time because we were so busy doing other stuff. Yeah. And so they're like, the doc was stupid. It's like, yeah, but we dreamt this up since day one with Malik. So it was like an ode to Malik of, dude, like, I know you're going to see this and you're going to be like, fuck, dude, they did it. They did it, dude. We talked about that and they did it. You know what I mean? I would be stoked if my friends, if all of a sudden I had to bail and I see them go crush something, I'm like, fuck, dude, hell yeah, man. You guys did what we talked about. That's my big thing, is like being impeccable with your word. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. And we did. And I don't take anything lightly. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And so that's what we did with the doc. And then it was like Malik was always climbing that freaking tree, like scouting out the dock or scouting out the lagoon, the cenote or whatever. And so he was always up in it. And so when I carved his name, it makes it look like I'm a deranged ex. Like I miss my boyfriend. But like basically I carved his name basically. I would do the same for like, you, Jeff. But I carved his name just being like, hey man, like you're always like, you will be here with us. We're not forgetting you. We're not just going to bag on you. Like some people bag on their partners that leave. Like, you are our boy and you will be here till the very end with us. What it was like, hey man, like pound on the tree, like you're here, man. We got you. And that was just one of the things of what it was. Like we had such a tight brotherhood because yes, Laura came in 2 minutes after I met him, if that, maybe a minute. But for that minute, it was just us. Like, yeah. For the next 21 days, I got your back, you got my back. We got no one else but each other. You form like that bond. And then also the rookie bond. Like, yes, I formed like a crazy tight bond with Laura, but it's different because the only person who knows what I'm going through at this moment, Laura's had her rookie moment before, but that was like 10 years ago. This is like our rookie moment together, to where it's like, we know we're processing things for the first time together, and it's a different wavelength. And so that's just what it was. But it didn't mean that I wasn't close with Laura, because it didn't show her and I as close as what we were as I was with like Malik, just because we were boys. That's how I am with like, if it was with Hector or anybody, like when Hector DNFs Coco, I have to walk off, man. Like I'm pissed, and I'm not pissed at him, but it's like me when I used to like coach fighters, and I would say somebody lost. Nobody ever lost that we coached. Like we had a great team, but like it was to the point where if somebody like was getting handled, I'd be like, it was so hard to watch. Like that's my guy. Like I want to step in, I help him. If Hector, I'm like, dude, how can I fucking put you on my back and run the rest of this race? Like, how can I help you? Like when Hector DNFs Coco, man, I'm almost crying because I was like, dude, I know how much you've put into this. I've been with you every single mile of this way, except the first like 70. And then I see you have to bow out, and it's like, I'm just like, I'm hurting for you because I know how bad you want this. And I wish they would have put this in more of like, when people leave, like I'll rag on every other person on this show. I got no problem with it because I think they're all fake. Is when it comes to people, their partners leaving. And I wouldn't say everybody, if people are watching their own show, like if their partner's leaving and they go, hey man, whatever's best for you, man, you know what's best for you. You got to take care of your life outside this. Fuck you. Like, I was in the league. I was like, dude, hey man, you know, when everybody's, hey man, like I understand what you need to do. If you need to take care of him, I was like, Malik, fuck that. Fuck those people. I'm not going to be one of them. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to fight for you until you put on that robe and you get in that truck. I am not going to shut up. I'm not just going to let you leave. I'm not going to be like, hey, man, whatever's best for you. No, what's best for you is staying here. What's best for you is laying here the entire time, not moving, and we will celebrate at 21 days. I don't care if you do nothing. And Laura didn't care either. You could do nothing. You could lay here the whole time. And if he goes, I just don't think that's right. No, that's your ego. Your ego thinks that you need to do this and X, Y, and Z. No, fuck your ego. Like literally, we are a family and I want to see you win. That is all I care about. I want to see you here at 21 days because I know you can do it. And we don't know, maybe day 14, you finally come alive and you start crushing it. But we'll never know that until you get there. And so like we had some really heated discussion about it. And I'm going to sit there. And his response was just like, dude, like I know you're not going to stop. And that's why I love you, because you're doing this out of a place of love. And I was like, I don't mean anything bad about it, but I'm going to fight for you like I'm going to war with somebody, right? And I have your back, and this is me having your back against whatever is telling you to leave. And I would support anybody like that. Like either one of you in a race, I'm going to fucking fight tooth and nail for you to cross that finish line. It doesn't fucking matter. And to me, it's not just you losing or you quitting. It's like me losing too. And now it's a whole different ball game for me because I don't care about myself completing anything. Like I've done a lot of sick shit. I'm like, I want to do this as a team. I care about people in the community. When somebody leaves, that's crushing. And we both understood it from each point of view, but like he wasn't going to change his mind and I wasn't going to stop until like it happened. So it was just a good bond of knowing where each other was coming from. And he's like, yeah, man, that's why I love you. Because I know you're not going to stop and you're not just going to just let me walk out of here.
Yeah.
And it was actually really funny because after we stopped crying, and I was like, man, you're not leaving. And I dropped down and I picked him up around the waist and I swung him around by the tree. I was like, Laura, grab the vines. We're tying him up. And I like went to go put him on the tree. And I was like, all right, man, like later.
Yeah, you got to go. That was my question to Jeff when we were talking about the whole episode. And I was like, and how close could you have been? He was there like what, 14 days or 11 days?
8.
Yeah. So yeah, it was something like that. And I was just like, how close can you be after 8 days?
Yeah.
But I didn't take into consideration the type. I know you're an amazing guy, dude. You do a lot of crazy shit, but the selflessness that you have as a human being is what I didn't factor into the emotion shown on camera. And then they don't show that enough in the episode. They don't. But
you also, for people that are watching that don't know who Justin is, they don't understand that's part of his personality either.
That's his ingrained in his DNA.
And those are also the keyboard people that are like, oh, what the hell, man? Like, how emotional could you be about this? I also think too that the way they edited it made it look like you were crying the entire time, and then you went right over to the tree and did that.
Yeah.
Like, so the way they edited it made it look like I'm just crying. I'm just going to go mark his egg.
To Justin's point though, they 3 minutes a day, right? And so it's like, how much can they show? And two things you said. One is like you highlighted the your own character and what's built into you as a DNA, as a group leader, as somebody that genuinely gives a shit about the people that they're around. That's not emphasized. The other thing is not emphasized is you're absolutely right. I'm like, dude, like, why isn't he losing his shit? But the dynamic between how you and Malik looked at Laura was like not highlighted either. You guys looked up to her as like a leader of some sort. Like this whole mentorship conversation is not highlighted in the episode either as well.
The reason why it wasn't highlighted is because she doesn't take that role. So like right from the get-go, like when you watch the episode, Malik leads us into the insertion because she's like, you lead the way. This is your guys' challenge. Sure, I know what to do and we don't know where to go, but I know like the process, like what we need to look for. And she's like, hey, you learn that, like you go through this. And so she did a really good job of not just stepping back, but stepping with us. Where I have the analogy of it's like tightrope walking over the Grand Canyon. If you don't have that safety net, you're going to just keep tripping and falling. So all you're worrying about is making the wrong move. You don't think about the task at hand. Laura was that safety net in a sense, but also like what I said, like afterwards was that she is a safety net that is going to keep us safe, but she's also the safety net that's not going to be the net and catch you. She's just going to dive after you and die with you. Yeah. She's a ride or die through and through. Like I did a lot of dangerous stuff and she never let me go alone. There's a day where I got so sick of trying to wait for turtles. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out to the middle. And so I walk like 3/4 out to the lagoon, and she's like, Mom, I can't let my rookie die on his own because then I look bad. Like I look like I let my rookie go be the bait. So literally all of a sudden, bam, she's right up behind me and we're going out and we're trying to get turtles. And so it's like, she didn't have to do that, but she was like, if you get into danger, I get into danger. Like it was never a, Justin, don't do that. You're stupid. It was like, hey, if you're learning, I'm going to be there with you. So she didn't ever take the role of mentor. She just was a part of the challenge with us, which is what made it so special, where she taught us a lot of things, but never once took those reins of being bossy or anything. Like she's so humble and kind with it. She just became one of us. I've hung out with some buddies and I'm like, honestly, if she was here with us right now, like you wouldn't even notice that she's like brand new in the group. She just fits in and is just real. And I guess that's like what you say, like with me and Malik, like I'm me from the get-go. Who you get on like the first second is who you're going to get on day 121. That's like the same with her. Is there's no filter, there's no like fake mask. You're just you. And I think that authenticity shines so quickly and people gravitate towards that. I love hearing people's responses. Like with Malik and I, even his friends have been like, when you guys cried, I cried. Honestly, that whole crew behind the cameras, everybody's eyes were watering. Everybody was crying because it just was so real. And it is so odd. Waiting for the show to come out, I was like, how are they going to process this to make it look like, why are we so close after a couple days? That doesn't make any sense. Nobody on the outside realizes that or can fathom that. But it really is. You just go through so much in a week together of day and night. And it's wild. The bonds that you grow, they're like no other. And it's like my buddies who I fought with, like there's a bond there. Guys who I go travel with and meet around the world, there's a bond there. But this is like its own special one that very few people in the world have because very few people have completed it. And again, I think it's the authenticity that we showed that people love. Like you said, Jeff, it's like, it's number 2, like very quickly, it's number 2 on the franchise history of viewer ratings, like for a good reason. Like we didn't complain. We were wholesome and people just love the real people, which is cool to see because a lot of people gravitate towards drama. And I think people just got the realness from it.
Yeah. It was, and I think to your point though, Justin, I think hardship creates camaraderie in a lot of ways. And so when you're going through something like that, not having food and figuring out shelter and building things from scratch and all that stuff. Yes, it's 8 days, but those bonds, when you're going through some like crazy shit, like the bonds that people create in wartime, it's very similar, dude. They train for months and months and months and months, and then they get tossed into a war, and all of a sudden they go to war together, and they would die for their partners. And similar, and obviously you're not at war, but you're going through some hard shit. When you have that, it creates this form of bond. But that was one of the questions that I had. I'm like, dude, how close can you be? Again, perspective. You put a different perspective on things, and you can be very close to somebody if it's just 8 days, if you're going through some miserable shit together.
Yeah. And me personally, like if you're my people, you're my people. Like how, if I like you or not, like a lot of people think I'm just like a really overall kind dude. But like I told Malik, I was like, bro, if I thought you just bitched out and you quit, I would tell you. But I don't think you did. I think you left for a valid reason because based on how much I lost 38 pounds, you did not have 38 pounds to lose. Like you would be medically pulled at that point. Like you would be on a stretcher at that point. You don't have the 38 pounds to lose. And so I'm like, that's a valid, I do a lot of stupid shit. We know I do a lot of stupid shit, but that's just not worth it at that point. But in retrospect, I was fighting to keep you there to that stretcher. But like we all had hopes that like we were going to get food. But like I was like, hey man, anything we get from here on out, you eat it.
It's yours.
Or whatever you want, you eat my food. We didn't know we weren't going to get anything, but still it was just like, you're a family out there, man. And like I said, like my people are my people from day one. I'll have your back, man. I'll go to war for you any day of the week if you're my person. If you're in my group, it's on. So that's what it was. I don't think people are like that on the show. I think people are very guarded and they're so scared of surviving themselves that they can't be of service to other people. I'm not worried about myself. I know I'll kill it. So therefore I can be of service to someone else. Whereas I think some people are so scared, like in this last week, you could see it. One guy wanted to build a raft while the other guy wanted to build a roof, but they could never come to an agreement of, hey, why don't we just build the roof and then later take it off and use it as a raft?
As a raft.
Yeah.
Like, but you were so hard strung up on you being right and me being right that you couldn't just be right together because you're so scared for your thing to be wrong or be turned down. It's like, that's the issue.
Yeah. I think that's very who you are, though, dude. I think it's your childhood, your past. We've talked about other things, and I think you're just a protective individual, dude. And I think you get around people and you're very real, and then they don't know. If you guys want to listen to his childhood and his past, I don't even know what episode it was, but it was in the first season. But that is probably a lot of what that is, dude. Your rawness, your realness, your selflessness. And I think that's so fucking cool, dude.
Thank you, man.
One question was that, how fast did they get to Malik? How fast is that transition when he said, okay, I'm tapping out, I'm done? How fast is that, dude?
It's pretty much right there. Like, we have the crew, right? The crew isn't there 24/7, but we had been awake for a bit, and then he went down to the water, and then basically comes back up, and like he tells the producer right there, hey, I want the camera crew say he wanted to talk to our producer. And basically at that point, he creates the conversation of, I am leaving. And then at that point, they pretty much, we say our goodbyes, and you see it. Like, that is real time. Like, from him talking to us, they cut out some of the conversation, obviously, but like for the most part, that was 99% of it. And we give him a hug. Our producer gives him the robe, and he literally just walks off into the trail, and you never know he's from Seattle, so he's not too far from me in reality, but you don't know if you're going to see this person again. Like, you just went through crazy shit together. Damn, dude, like, you're gone. Oh, like, it's weird. And so it is quick, man. From the second, it's probably within 5 minutes of us, like, him saying it, us saying our goodbyes, getting the robe on, and out. It's quick.
That's interesting. I'm interested in the production side of things.
That's exactly what I was going to ask, dude. That's
so to add on top of that, what I think is really interesting is, you guys had to go to the extraction, and it was, I think it was like a 7-mile hike or whatever it was, and you cut through you cut through the water, cut some of that off, but you talk about how the production crew is not there 24/7, and they're pretty much hiking in themselves in the morning. So how far are they hiking in and out to themselves? Because you got to get Malik out of there. So it's not like you're hey, Malik, we need to hike our asses out 7 miles, bud. Sorry. Here you go.
Dude, that sucks. I didn't think about that. Like, he had to make that hike regardless.
Yeah. So that kind of sucks, but it's like getting the production crew in and out every single day had to be just a pain in the ass. And that goes for the entire show, not just your episode. Like,
every day.
And then are they, how much I assume they're hands off completely. You guys 100%. Don't have much conversation with them at all, period. So it's, unless you I need to get out of here. That's really the only time you guys are having conversation with them. Yeah.
Basically, it is very weird, man. Like, we talked about, like, it'd be really funny if they got naked, and then we had a film crew film them filming us naked. It was like, basically every day they just come in. It's so weird, man. They come in from, I think, the small lagoon somewhere, like basically where we left the extraction. They come in from that direction is all we know. And then, cause they leave, let's say they're on like an 8-hour clock, right? So their drive in is probably an hour, cause we did that drive and we get blindfolded from the city, and it is a very long hour to blindfolded, and it is sickening.
Yeah.
Roads you go on.
Sickening. Yeah.
Dude, I don't get car sick ever. And I got so sick because you're just bouncing around. Like, we are out there, dude. We are out in the middle of nowhere. It's ridiculous how far we are, at least perceived, but not hearing anything ever.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their journey was like in every day, but we know it sucked because they were like, probably wanted to stay with us more than anything. Like, they had to come in however long, an hour or two, and then with us for, and again, we don't know what time it is, but maybe 6 hours, and then they leave. So they're not with us all day. Like, they set up their night cameras and their day cameras, and then they leave. We are alone a lot of the time. And for those couple hours, it's almost like a scientist going to their lab and like looking at a petri dish and being like, all right, it's moved, it's grown. Oh, it's lost something. Okay, cool. And then they leave, and it's like, what just happened? There's people in our home. Yeah. And then that's it. They're in and they're out. And it's very weird. Like, it's,
how big of a crew was it? That goes in?
Maybe 8 or 10 people.
Wow.
That's still a lot of people, actually.
To get in and out every day for 21 days, dude. That's fucking nuts.
No, sorry. I think 6 to 7. Yeah. I think 6.
Yeah.
6,
but still, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So when you got that, it's a big crew to get in and out. But at the end of the day, like, it's a pretty, what would you call that? Going as like lean as possible. Nobody's there that shouldn't be there. And I think that's kind of what they want to do, is they want to put us like we are literally isolated. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are isolated.
Nobody's sneaking a cheeseburger in from the crew mess at all.
Like, for their
or is anybody eating in front of you?
That was my question, dude.
How big of a dick would you be if you
like fucking sit there? You're fucking eating the guano. I got a fucking burrito and shit. I'm just like salsa. Dude, fucking.
I'm sitting there drinking water that tastes like crocodile shit, and you're
baby.
You're sipping like a Capri Sun.
Yeah.
No, it was honestly like, what was I going to say about them coming in, the crew? No, man, it's like you're very isolated. And then when we get out, it's like there's a whole team that makes this whole machine work that we don't even know. There's so many, it's such a big production, but we don't see anything. We're so isolated. It's ridiculous. I can't remember what I was going to say about it. Yeah, something about how bad it was. Like just being isolated wise is crazy.
So
like
they're there for 6 hours. And it's the same crew? Same guys all the time?
Yeah.
Wow. Because I was thinking like a rotation would have been sick, dude, but I don't know.
That's brutal, man. They have a tough job, dude. Like the way they'd have to follow us through, and like when we go on that one mean iguana hunt, like both of them, dude, they're like following us with a giant camera. Dude, they're tough, man. They've been all over the world in the craziest places.
Yeah, they're used to it by now. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, they're tough, man. I imagine they'd do very well if they did an episode. Yeah. I think they did. I think they had an episode where there was 2 medics did it. And they crushed it.
Let's talk about the extraction aspect of it.
I got a lot of questions about that, but go ahead.
We talk about the dock. And you guys staying out there on dock. Like from the alligator perspective, how close were you guys actually to that alligator most of the time or some of the time? And then I assume there was probably more than one that was in that thing, but talk to me about that and sleeping on that thing overnight with that alligator being right around. And then, by the way, jumping in to go get a turtle. Come on, good job, dude. Nice work. It was a perfect dive for him. It was great.
Dude, I know. I couldn't get the proper leverage because I got so scared of kicking the dock. And then once I saw it didn't move, I was like, I really could have sent this.
Yeah.
But
fucking dock's still up, bro.
I know, dude. Yeah, so what was the first bit of that? You said
talk about the alligator.
How close was the alligator to you?
Yeah, how close?
So crocodile was what it was.
Crocodile.
So saltwater crocodiles are very, very intelligent. Those are the ones that like watch your moves and stalk you. So saltwater ones are like, and I learned this from Laura, is like saltwater will learn when you go to the water. Because every day we went and took a bath in that water, really. Like we sat in the little shallow end and there was like sagebrush leaves and we would just use it to scrub our dirt off and just get a little clean. So we take baths almost like every other day once we started like getting things like more laid back around camp and get the main stuff done.
Yeah.
So we did have a lot of chores. And so we usually hang out in the shallow end. And then finally making that move out into the middle, we had to be so cautious every time we made that trip because we hadn't really seen many crocs in this area. We saw one little one. And versus the big lagoon, we stayed out of that one. You don't ever see us where that tree was the big lagoon where when you first see us come in on insertion, that's the big lagoon. And that was the one that had a 10-foot croc. Like Laura is actually walking around the side of that one day and like the croc like dove back into the water because crocs don't want any business on land. Like they want you in the water. So it's not like she was walking, it saw her, it wouldn't attack her. These are freshwater crocs, so they're not as aggressive as saltwater. Saltwater will watch you go down to the water, watch your habits. If I look away this way after 5 seconds, then it knows, okay, after he looks that way, he looks this way, and they'll study you. Versus like freshwater, they're only going to bother you if you step on them. And so really that's what it was, or they're hungry. And so that 10-foot croc ran away from her. But at that point, we'd hear it bellow at night, like little crocodile bellows they give. We would hear that one going off at night. And then the smaller one that we built our dock on, we didn't see a lot of activity, but we saw some. It just didn't make any sense why there wouldn't be more in there. Versus there was a ton in the other one. Like we'd see their heads all day. But we didn't see a lot in this one. So we're like, all right, man, let's just build the dock. We'll be super cautious. Every step is just careful, right? Not stirring anything up. And hopefully if we stay together, we have kind of like sticks next to us, we'll appear bigger and we'll deter it. Yeah. And then one day we just saw a turtle and I thought it was close enough and decided to jump. And this croc always came up and down in the same spot. When you see it go down at the end, like it comes up and down in the same spot every day. So that must have been where like its bed was. And where I swam to might have been like 3 to 5 feet from its bed. And we're talking like when you get on top of them, they will attack. Like I was stupid close, very close. Like, it is ridiculous how I was allowed to get that close. And obviously, like I said, there's no safety net. There was no allowance of me. It was just like, I'm going to do what I do, and they will run the cameras. There's no, hey, Justin, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
There's
This
none
is
of
going
that.
to make for good TV.
Go ahead.
Let him get bit.
Let's see if his ass gets bitten off.
It's wild, man. Like, people think that it's fake, and I'm like, dude, there's nothing fake about jumping in that water. Like, it was 100% the worst thing I could have done. And luckily it didn't. And not just jumping, but the splashing about. That is what attracts crocs.
Yeah.
And so hopefully I'm just like as big as possible, where like it just didn't want to get me. I don't know. But basically got back on the dock and then headed back into land once it cooled down a bit, and we just assessed the situation. But that's what a lot of it was, is just being slow and patient and hoping this one thing wouldn't be the last thing I do. And then sleeping on it was great. Like, the ground back in the shelter, like, it was a good shelter, but it would sometimes get cold. And so the littlest breeze would come through and it would just send chills. Like, it just wasn't nice, man. Like, this tiniest little sheet would have been lovely to have. And when we're out on the dock, we built blankets. So at this point we had like several palm frond, like, stalks, or I don't want to say farms, but like palm frond areas where there was trees, where we'd go out farming for them, like bringing them in. So we wanted to never like just deplete that source, because they're growing, and once you chop it, they start shriveling up. And so we needed to have a steady supply in case our shelter started like going downhill. We needed to patch it up. And so right about the end, we knew like, all right, we have no more time left here. We'll take some of them off our shelter, plus the ones off the trees, and make literally the blankets again. Like the bed mats we made, we just made another top one, because we thought it'd be really cold on top of the water. But it's so hot during the day, and that water is like a hot tub, dude. Every time you step in it, it's not relaxing. It is so freaking hot. It like burns the bug bites on your body. It is so, It's just not nice, man. Like, what? It's rough. And so basically, it's great for sleeping though, because it's like a heated floor. Like, we're not high up. We're probably like this high, maybe. I don't know. We're probably like that high, but it's a heated floor. So we were stupid hot. Like, it was so nice. We have a blankets. Come to find out, these blankets are so good at insulating. I wish we would have done this ahead of time, but we also didn't want to deplete our sources. But like, those blankets was like a sauna suit. It just trapped all the heat into where I started getting like heat, like hot flashes. I'm like, dude, I have to take this shit off of me. Like, it's so fucking hot on this dock right now. We were both heating up. Both of us were sweating. We're just like, oh my God. Not to the point of like, we regret this, but we're like, this is not what we expected. Like, this is really cool, but this is insane how warm this is, because we've been cold most nights. Like, it's a little chilly, and especially as you start losing weight, you start getting colder. Like, when Malik was there was like a night where like he's with the fire, and then like I have a big ass back compared to Malik, so like I would huddle up against him like back to back and keep him warm. And then it was like the sweetest thing, because like, dude, it's just so nice. Like, the thought of being of service to other people. I don't know how he notices it one night, but I'm literally there like shivering, like shaking. And I started coming up with a technique where I just slept like dick down in the dirt every night. And then everybody was like, how are you sleeping just face down, dick down in the dirt? And I'm like, because it's the warmest. So like, you got to think about your core, and all your organs are up top, not covered by much fat. So I was like, if I lay face down, then I'm covered between the ground and my back. And so therefore my organs stay warmer. And so that was why I could stay warm every night, is I'd lay face down with one hand over my junk and then one over like my chest, and just lay face down every night. Because if you lay in a ball, that's why people curl up, is try to keep their organs warm. Yeah. And so I was like laying on my side, I'm curled up, and Malik, I guess, I don't know how he did it, man, but it was like the sweetest thing is all of a sudden, like, little Malik's back comes up against mine, and he's like, I got you, man. And I was like, dude, it just made me think. I was like, fuck.
Now you understand.
And now we understand.
Now we understand.
Now we understand why the emotions and why his name was written in the
It's like, you kept me warm at night. Fucker, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's just things like you always have each other's back. And I'm like, I just felt like his back like push up against mine. He's like, man, I got you. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Because dude, it hurts. Like, you're out there and you're freezing, and there's no reprieve from this. It is only going to get colder, and it's scary. You're literally just shivering all night, and you're like, dude, when does this end? It's not going to end. There is no end to this. Like, it is either it warms up, you wait here till the morning, or like you wake up and sit by the fire and get eaten by mosquitoes. Like, it's very A or B. And then later on, like once we started losing fat, we start getting even colder. And so then at that point, like Laura's great at it. Like she was like perfect at handling the cold, but to the point of one night I had to go back to back with her because she starts getting cold. So we're just there trying to keep each other alive and like comfortable. And so then once we get to the dock, we're like, fuck, dude, this is hella nice. But we did not expect it to be this cold, dude. And we have our mosquito net over us. And then we're thinking like we're going to get eaten alive because we're over water. But no, the dragonflies come out and the dragonflies eat the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And then the dragonflies leave and the mosquitoes come back for 5 minutes. And all of a sudden, the bats come out and the bats start eating the mosquitoes. And we're like, this is the sickest night ever. It's warm. There's no mosquitoes. Sure, there's a crocodile beneath us, but yeah, the mosquitoes aren't here. Yeah. And it was like, dude, it couldn't have been any better. And then it was nerve wracking, but like in our head, dude, we're both up for dumb shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm like the opposite of an elephant. I forget shit real quick. I'm not here to worry about the negatives. Like maybe in this minute it sucked, but I look back on it and I'm like, dude, that was a good memory. Like that shit was wild, stupid, but wild.
Yeah. It brings the new idea of you dick in the dirt. Literally dick in the dirt. So did the producers or the crew tell you how cold or hot it got in there while you were there?
No,
you wouldn't have a clue.
But looking at the show afterwards and seeing, like, before we head out, obviously, like, I look up the weather and I'm like, oh, what's it going to be like for the next 2 weeks? And you see it's going to be like in the high 90s to hundreds. And then once they show it on the show, they show some temperatures as you're watching. And then I remember the humidity rate out there. And if you look up the heat index between the humidity and the temperature, we're looking at 140 to 180 degrees.
Oof.
Damn.
Like it is with a 98% humidity. And like 101 degrees, what we reached on one day. Now, I don't know if those days lined up, but like average humidity was like above 92% from what I was checking to days that were 90 to 101. Like that is 140 to 180 degrees on the heat index. Like it was hot. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, dude, and you're sitting over a fire trying to boil water.
Yeah.
And like, I was talking to my uncles, dude, it didn't look like they showed enough suffering. Like you guys didn't suffer. And I'm like, trust me, we did. We just don't bitch about it.
Yeah.
We never suffered. Like people are like, how are you guys doing all this stuff? Like without food, without this? I'm like, cause we just don't give a fuck. I'm here to work. I'm not here to complain. If I wanted to eat, I'd go to a buffet. This is what
or go chase some fucking turtles.
Yeah. So talk about the extraction and getting back to the road to get picked up. You guys obviously did the dock so you could cut off some of that time, but it was still what, a 4 to 6 mile hike still ish to get through there. It
was a couple hours for sure. It's 2 to 3 hours, maybe more. Like, it just feels like it's never ending. Like, honestly, that was probably the time where I didn't get frustrated, but I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. And you don't know if you're going the right direction. So when I got into the water, and I remember lowering my feet into that water, and we were like, Laura, we had hawk eyes on that croc. Like all of a sudden, my feet lower in the water, and that croc head goes under as well. And we're just like,
oh shit,
dude. We're just like, fuck, dude, game on.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And we both had our poles. So we like had sticks in our hands to like prong the ground and like kind of brush a croc instead of stepping on it. So we were being very careful shuffling through because we were right on the edge of where it was. And so, when we got up to land, I was like, you see us celebrate, dude. Cause it was like, fuck, man, we were nervous about that part. But it was like, it's what we do. Like if you know who I am, I'm okay with risking that. And she is too. So we were up for it. I think 100% if a croc comes at either one of us, like neither one of us is running. That was the thing, is if she didn't want to sleep on it, I couldn't have slept on it either. Like we would have had to have been a team and gone back to our shelter, but we took apart our shelter to build this and we put out our fire. So like when we put out our fire out there, it's like a life source. Like it's crazy getting out that fire and knowing there's no returning home. Like our home is done. Like we've just made this our home for 20 days and we're gone. It's a somber moment. You're like, dude, this is it. Like we're leaving and now we're going to go to here. And so it was really weird, but also just like nobody else, there's probably nobody else in the world that would have done that with me. Like opt to walk through Crocodile Lagoon and be like, if you get attacked, I get attacked. We're going to fuck this croc up if it touches one of us.
Yeah.
The other person's not running.
You might have been having croc for dinner, bro.
On last night.
On last night, bro. Fucking farewell meal, baby. Let's fucking go.
Make myself some Gucci slippers. Dude, it was But so we get to that land and like we just start walking for ages. And you start finding like game trails from like some of the animals out there. You find like a beaten path, then you lose it, then you find a game trail. And we're literally just zigzagging. And I'm fairly good with navigating off a map, just based off, that's literally how I crossed Madagascar, was off a map. There was no phone. It was literally looking at a map of where nobody knew where anything was, because people in the country had never seen a map of their country before. People in Madagascar had never seen, in the villages that we were at least, had never saw a map of the country. So I'm very good at orienteering. And so is Laura. So it was perfect. And we're sitting there trying to navigate, and it's just hour after hour. There's thorns, there's cactuses we're stepping on. What is it? I cut myself with a machete because I was obviously batting my leg all the time from the flies biting me. And there's one time where I did it as I brought my calf up and I stabbed myself in the leg, but I was like, man, yeah, it was wild, man. It was just so long of just constant like trekking. And then all of a sudden, like somebody saw it, was watching it with me. They're like, oh, come on, you don't see that road there in front of you? And I'm like, honestly, no. At that point, like watching it on tape, you can clearly see the road. You can see the orange dirt. In person, no. Because you just like zone in on the ground in front of you because you're trying not to lose the trail.
Yeah,
and then Laura sees it because I guess I'm in front and I'm trying to keep the trail to where she can just follow me and look ahead and scout. And so she saw it first. And I was like, what trail? I was like, oh my God. Well,
I'm standing on it.
Yeah. And so it was crazy.
Hit you in the face.
Like, I didn't even notice it. And yeah, man, it's like a very surreal feeling getting to that point and like celebrating. And I'm like, I don't know, after the triathlon, like, I'm not a celebrator, dude. Like after the triathlon, I gave people hugs and I was like, all right, ready to go? I just want to leave. I don't like celebrating. I don't like things being about me. I'm just like, all right, challenge is done. This is what this was supposed to happen. Like, I'm not surprised this happened, but it was a very like surreal moment to like, damn, dude, we're out of here. And almost like very sad of like, all right, man, it's came to an end. Like we're done. And then we're sitting there and we're having lunch later. And literally I'm looking at like this, Malik was just talking about it on a live he was doing. We were at like this village and there's like a little casita or whatever they are, like a soda side little village restaurant. And they have the thatched roofs just like ours. And like, I remember looking at it and I'm like, fuck, that's some good work. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there.
I could have done that.
I literally like walk in. I like nudge Laura. I'm like, it's iguana. And like we're sitting there waiting for our food to come, but like I see an iguana like creep up and I'm just like, I can't take my eyes off it. I'm like, dude, we could get it. You're literally so feral at that point of everything is just, oh, dude, we could use that. We could use that. Oh, dude, that's a good tree. Like everything we see, it's just like, dude, it's so weird how you just become adapted to it immediately. It's weird getting back to reality. Like that first night, we went out and we had a good party. We celebrated with everybody. And it's really fun because I just posted a picture of some of the group we were with. And it was like, there's all these people who have been in the background rooting for you, cheering you on. Like when we get in the cars, man, and we get to that village, all of a sudden there's people you've never even seen. And they're like, dude, Justin, congratulations, man. I'm like, thanks.
Who are you?
And they're just like, oh man, I'm so and so. And I'm like, still don't know who that name is. Yeah. And they're just like, oh man, when you start meeting them, and these are the people who basically help the crew do everything they needed to do.
Support you.
Yeah, to drive in and out of the jungle every day, to make them food. There's things that go on to productions that like people don't see.
Behind the scenes.
These are the people who like probably the crew tells them about us. And we're this little bacteria in a petri dish that they tell them all day. And they're like, oh man, like, how's Justin doing? How's Laura doing? And like, they probably update them. I don't know. This is what goes on in my head. They must or they must just be like waiting for us to come out. I don't know how it goes, man. Cause maybe they can't. But it's like when we get out, we meet them. It's like everybody's just so stoked for you. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just don't know anything about you, but they just know that they know of the premise of the show. And they're just stoked for you when you come out. And it's really cool and very just heartwarming. It's a really cool moment to be able to celebrate with people and just meet people again. And you're like, and a lot of people are just really happy for you, genuinely happy for you. And you guys are fucking crazy. So cool. Congratulate, dude. This jungle's wild. Like they live out there and they're like, this is insane. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's just really cool moment. And I remember that first night trying to go back to sleep, like I couldn't sleep. I remember texting Laura. She was in the room next to me and I was like, this bed fucking sucks. I can't sleep. I had to go lay on the floor. I had to shut off the AC and open the windows. Like it was too cold. It was too comfy. I just want to be out in my jungle, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, go for it.
What did you eat for your first meal?
Oh man, so I had some carne asada tacos, not a turtle,
Yeah. How many fucking tacos did you eat after not eating for 21 days? That's what I want to fucking know.
Someone told me, they were joking, hey, we have to give you like a hard boiled egg to ease your stomach back in. I was like, you give me a hard boiled egg, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I did not just do this for a hard boiled egg. And so we get so they give us like a light meal, whatever, to kind of ease us back in. And then we get carne asada, like light meals and like fruit. And there was a hard boiled egg, the cheeky fuckers. Basically like carne asada tacos, the quesadillas, with obviously Mexican quesadillas, man, just tortillas are the best. Yeah. Glass Coke in a bottle. And then getting back to it, I was like, we were talking like, I want pizza in my room. And I was just like, dude, I want it all, man. I want 2 pizzas on my bed, ready to go. I need to go hard on this, dude. And I left at about, I think, 186. And then I put up a picture yesterday of like me after 2 meals, after the tacos, after the fruit platter, after like several bottles of liquid, and I still am skinny. I wish I would have got a picture immediately, but I didn't have my phone, but maybe I could have took someone else's and been like, hey, send this to me. But because, dude, I looked in the mirror in the village and I was like, fuck, dude, this is what I look. You don't know what you look like. I'm like, shit, dude, like I am fucking emaciated. Like I am.
Dude, I
was like, how this used to be my heavyweight when I used to fight. Like I used to be 30 pounds lighter. Yeah, man, it was wild to finally eat, and it was hard to eat. Like things.
Really, that was my next question.
1 or 2 bites, and you're done. You're like,
you're full.
Yeah, but you'll still keep eating. You'll still keep putting it down.
Yeah, it's like, what was the aftermath? You obviously you're not eating for 21 days. There's no like bowel movements. There's no other than peeing. You're not shitting yourself anymore. You really stop pooping at that point, right?
Yeah, so Malik shit every day. I don't know how he did it. He shit every day.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I don't know how he did it. I poop at my like schedule was 4 days in, 5 days in, then 6 days in. So like basically the same thing plus 1 day. So 4 days, I think the 9th day, and then I think the 15th day was my poop. It weren't anything big, but like it was clearly had to poop.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah. That's my point. And then so like the aftermath of it all, dude, that's the science behind it. Like you're fucking sitting there going, I haven't eaten for fucking 21 days, nothing but fucking nuts and then a little bit of iguana and shit. Dude, like what was the aftermath after you got back and you had some finally eat, dude?
Oh, dude, I can't even remember. I know I did poop the next morning for sure. I don't think it was anything bad. I don't think it was anything like crazy, but I definitely like forgot to wipe. Like I know you don't wipe when you're out there. So I just forgot to wipe. I got up and I was like, shoot. And I just hopped back in the shower and
oh shit,
rinse off.
Shower time.
Yep.
You have one conversation. We have one conversation.
I want to talk about poop all the time,
poop.
bro.
And all of a sudden you just
these are all questions, bro.
You just want to talk to him about poop now.
Bro, I don't want to talk about poop. I just want to talk about the what happened to his body, bro. That's fucking impressive, man. You think about the human body is fucking insane, dude, what it's capable of doing, dude. It's fucking insane, dude. Yeah. Poop is poop, bro. Yeah, we had a conversation of poop last week and we aired it. And it was a very funny fucking episode. But my thing was like, dude, you're sitting in the woods, bro. You forget to wipe because you don't wipe while you're out there, dude. You just jump in the fucking lagoon or whatever it is you're doing and just deal with it. But like going back, you go like when I used to go to Mexico, dude, like living in Mexico for the summer times was a lot different than living here in the States, man. So you did a lot of different things and you forget things, dude. To his point, he forgot to wipe his ass. Yeah. And I forget like living in Mexico for 3 months at a time or 4 months at a time, and you come back and you forget words in English. You forget that you don't flush toilet paper down the fucking toilet in Mexico sewers because they can't handle it. Those are the things. And so reacclimating into civilization is fucking pretty impressive, dude, when you've been out there for 21 days. And
huge.
It's fucking hard. It got to be difficult. They don't cover that in the episode. I'm like, these people have to have struggled to get back into fucking civilization at some point, dude, for 21 days.
Going to bed was weird for a while. Now it's just a comfort thing, but for at least over a month afterwards, I had to listen to jungle sounds every night. So I couldn't go to sleep without it. It would literally knock me out in minutes versus if I didn't have it, I couldn't sleep. And then now like I have to wear an eye mask. Like I wear a sleep mask every night because like I need it to be pitch black.
Wow.
I want to like almost be back in there when I'm sleeping because it was like, dude, that was the best nights of sleep ever. Like when we were laying there, we're just like, dude, this is, you couldn't pay for this. Like this experience, laying, and not just the overall like life experience of it, but like the luxury experience of us laying on the ground in the dirt, sure, but it was like patted down finally with all the body sweat and stuff. It was hardened, but like you have that. You have the lagoon in the distance. You have the crocodiles bellowing, like the crickets going off. I forget what the cicadas or whatever they're called. All these things going off, man. Like you have the lightning bugs going off. Like, dude, it is the most peaceful thing, especially when the sunset's coming down. You have the little haze. Dude, it was ridiculous how peaceful it was. Like there's no luxury resort in the jungle that would ever duplicate that. And it was, but not a lot of people have that experience. Like a lot of people rough it and hate their sleep. That was my thing going in is I wanted to sleep. I know if I can sleep, that's where 90% of people fail, it looks like.
Yeah, because they're sleep deprived, they're calorie deprived, they're not getting enough fluids in.
Yeah, everything cascades.
I asked this question to you on Instagram and questionnaire deal, and we talked about strength. Like coming in, losing 30 pounds, right? Yeah. Having to acclimate back into your normal routine of going in and powerlifting and everything else. How, from a strength perspective, are you like, how long did it take you to gain back some of that stuff?
Dude, I was really surprised I didn't tear anything. There was one really big tree that I kicked down next to the water because we were going to use it as part of the dock. So I kicked it down and then I needed to get the roots out of the ground. And I literally tried to deadlift it. And I was like, this is the perfect time to tear both hamstrings. Like 18 days in, completely deprived of nutrients, dehydrated. And I'm going to deadlift something that's like probably 800 pounds. Like it was so dumb, but then didn't happen. But getting back into reality, man, like I was always tired. I was always out of breath going anywhere, like going upstairs. Let's fast forward past the like Mexico bit, and finally back home in Leeds was like, I would squat the bar, which is 45 pounds. Like I'd squat the bar for 10 reps, absolutely gassed. Heart rate is through the roof. I'm so tired. I have a video of it and I need to post it again because I've been waiting to post it for this moment of finally this is out. Look at what I came back with. Like my legs are pulls. I go from just like a complex movement of like a bear complex or something where like I do 10 reps on squats and then like shoulder press the bar 10 times and just try to get my body moving again. Cause it literally feels like my joints and my ligaments and my tendons are all going to snap. Everything felt so frail. My body felt frail. Trying to do just like dynamic warm-ups of like backward C hip openers. I couldn't balance. Like literally the stability of my ankles were so weak that when I would try to step back and do little C like hip openers, I couldn't do it. Like I literally had to hold something and do it. My ankles were so weak. Sure, my feet were strong from being barefoot, but like my body was so physically unstable to try to do that stuff in like a strength aspect that it was brutal, man. I really focused for 2 months on like implementing as slow as freaking possible back into like actually putting on weight. That it was quite good because I think it just helped me ingrain a lot better mechanics in my lifting. And I had to look at it like that. And then probably not till December. So a good like 3 to 4 months to where I was probably like pushing like decent weight again.
Yeah.
Are you go ahead.
To this, because you come back here to the States to come to work a little bit. Was it lucky enough in your schedule where you were able to acclimate a little bit more physically and mentally, and then, oh shit, I got to go to work in 3 weeks or whatever. Yeah. What was that for you?
So work had actually sent me a message right before I went literally in the jungle. Like the day before, they're like, hey, we're moving the work date, I think to the right. So I think they were pushing it out more, which like saved me. But I was like, cool, when? So I didn't know when I was going to work. I can't remember which day they said they were going to move it. It was probably out. But I was like, I don't know when it's going to be. And I think I got out somewhere around like the 27th or something of August, maybe. I can't remember what day it was, somewhere at the end of August in the 20s. I think I started work like mid-September. So I came back to Leeds maybe for a week or two. And then I literally went right back to Chicago and went right back to work. Like it was tough, dude. I remember showing up there. It was bad. And
Because you're putting in 14, 15-hour days.
Yeah.
When you're going to there, right?
Yeah, for a week. But it was cool too because I also went to Magnus Magnuson, like 5-time world's strongest man. He goes to this gym out in Chicago that's a hole in the wall. I walked in one day, I was like, the fuck? Why are you here? And so it's like a really sick powerlifting strongman little like dungeon. So it was like perfect for me to get back into. And there's some great powerlifting coaches out there as well. So I was like, hey, man, I'm starting from zero again. Help me restructure my mechanics in this and really help my lifting get better. Or at least when I got back to it, I'd be better. So, yeah, it was definitely a wild trip to get back into work for sure.
Yeah. And I wanted to know.
How I am. I like how I do this. I work. I like working. I work hard. So.
Yeah. Your work ethic is never going to be in question, I think. Yeah. But your food, dude, like you going back to that conversation, you said you could barely eat when you first got back in that first night out. And you talk about your biomechanics being shit after being so depleted. What was the reverse? Are you even like a calorie counter kind of guy, or are you just fuck it, just eat it, go? Or did you have a game plan to reverse out of that extreme deficit?
Nah, I'm not a big eater in general. So it's really hard for me to overeat. Like right now, getting ready for the High Rocks, like I'm trying to stay light so I can be fast, but also I chose the 100 kilo category, so 220. So I need to be light as well. So this is where I float in general. Yeah, it's tough for me to gain weight, so I don't really count calories at all. I just know that if I need to cut a couple pounds, I just don't eat one meal and I'll be good. I used to count for freaking decade with fighting and everything else that it's such like an intuitive thing that I know roughly however many things are. Like as long as I get 200 grams of protein in the day, I'm happy. So I hit that and I'm like, all right, everything else is really irrelevant to me. I just focus on that big macro and that's about it. So getting back into reality, back at home is basically that. Just focus on protein and that was it really. And then it was really weird not being able to explain to anybody why I just look like I fucking starved for 21 days. Everybody's like, dude, what happened to you? And I'm like, expedition, man, just doing my thing.
Just didn't eat.
Yeah, I can't tell anybody anything why I'm lifting like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, why I'm walking around fucking Bambi and shit.
Yeah, it's just like I got to go to work like that, man. And people are like, dude,
people are so worried. People are so worried about you when you get back to work. What happened to you?
Is he on drugs? Is he on drugs?
And I'm like, dude. People are like, dude, you were so big here last year. I'm like, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
I know.
I'm fucking dying with the empty bar. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So it was one of those things, man. It was the trip. That was the weirdest thing, man. Until mid-February when they told me I could tell people, was it 4, 6, 7 months without telling anybody anything? Like crazy. Wow. Or even longer because I can't tell anybody when I got accepted. Wow. I was like, I told you, I was like, oh, I applied. Yep. But once I told everybody applied, I just went ghost because then it's like, I can't tell anybody that I got accepted. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's good. Almost 8 months, 10 months of my life is a secret. Like this crazy transformative thing in my life.
Yeah.
Is ghost.
That's what's crazy about the reality shows like this is that you film it a year and you film it 1 year. It didn't come out for 9 months, 10 months. And then you have to wait until your episode happens to even tell anybody what really happened with it. And then now you're going through this entire you're pretty much reliving everything now at this point in time where it's
100%.
So like, that's what's crazy.
Should happened a year ago, motherfuckers. Yeah. I'm good now. Yeah.
That's why I love watching like The Amazing Race and those guys go off for 3 weeks and they're traveling the world. They make it look like it's this long deal and it's only a 3-week window, but then that show is like a year and a half out from when they recorded or something stupid. And you can't even tell anybody that this happened.
And if somebody who's public,
and then the shitty thing is if you go on a show that you win money on, they don't even give you the money until the show airs.
Are you serious?
Yeah. 100%. Like game shows where you win money, they literally will not pay you until your show airs. So if you're on a show like The Amazing Race and they don't air it for 12 to 15 months, you got to be quiet about it. And when it comes out, you finally get paid. They don't give you anything. And then it's okay. Now you got to go through the whole entire tax process right there at that point. Like It's a trippy thing with the reality shows, man.
Yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Like, it's tough, man. And you have to feel like you lied to everybody. Like, your friends, dude, why'd you tell me? And I'm like, I can't, man. I can't. Like,
the NDAs they make you sign on that shit. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was on one game show and I had to sign like 3 NDAs with this thing. I couldn't tell anybody that I won money. I didn't get my money until like literally 12 months later.
Damn.
And then you're just like, fuck, I forgot how much I actually won at this point.
I've never known that you were on a game show.
Yeah,
You never told me that. I know we're here to talk about Justin.
Yeah,
what show was this, man?
I was on a game show on Game Show Network called Chain Reaction. It can be found on YouTube, actually. If people want to go
I'm surrounded by a couple fucking stars here, bro. What the fuck? Man. Yeah, I need to get on a game show, dude.
I had a couple opportunities to go on some even bigger shows that I didn't do. I decided not to do, but
why not?
I just wasn't into it. One was like Johnny Knoxville had one prank show that came out for one season. And they asked me if I wanted to do it. And I was like, I'm not really a prank kind of guy. I don't really have anybody I really want to prank. And B, I just don't really know what
you do now, dude.
Yeah, but it's also
Omar, this is my in.
My in, bro. Fuck, I'm not doing the fucking naked.
Don't do this to me,
That's
Jeff.
not happening, bro.
Yeah, I was never a prank guy. I was like, it was. And then it was another game show that I made it all the way to the final thing, and they said we're gonna take somebody else.
Fuck that. Yeah, it's all right, dude. I need to get on a game show.
Everybody's doing it, man.
Dude, I tried, bro.
There's enough game shows to go around. Enough reality shows to go around.
Me and my family tried, dude. We applied for Family Feud, bro.
Oh, my neighbor was just on that.
Dude, I tried to get on Family Feud, bro. And they fucking didn't pick me, man. I guess I'm not fucking sexy enough or something. I don't know.
Hey, tell you what, the's a game show or reality show for everybody. Maybe I'll get you on to Temptation Island.
Yeah. Yes, Suzette would love that shit, bro. Oh, dude, Suzette would love it, bro.
Maybe, and we make it so that you're like, there's couples there, but you're the temptation.
Ooh. For the guys or the girls? Hold on.
You make the decision.
Yes.
Go with what you feel.
Yeah.
It was one of the dudes who I don't know if you remember a guy named Chris Trevino who came out in Texas with me when we were cycling across, and he met up in the truck and he drove with us like 3 or 4 days. Yep. He was on, he told me, he dropped this bomb on me. I've known him for a year or two. And he goes, yeah, man, I was on Wife Swap. And I was like, I'm hanging out with a celebrity here?
What the fuck, dude?
Come on, you can't just drop this. This is something you got to open with.
Yeah, dude, Wife Swap was fucking fun, dude. That's the one Suzette and I need to get on, dude.
That would be interesting.
That's sick, man. I was like,
interesting.
Yeah. Go ahead, fucking take her.
So, yeah, you're right. That's something that's a even bigger show. So yeah, that's a lead conversation point.
Yeah. That's just it. Anyways, moving on, dude. As we move on. Dude. But I think the fucking overall show was amazing, dude. The episode was amazing. You fucking crushed it. I know we said no fucking spoilers, bro, but we it is what it is. You started. You told me no spoilers, bro.
I said no spoilers.
And then you end up with fucking spoilers.
I know.
Yeah. So spoiler alert.
We'll do that. In the beginning.
Justin got 21 days out of it. When everybody, including myself, underestimated him, dude, because I was like, this guy has no survival skills. This guy Malik's gonna take it, man. He's gonna fucking go all the way. And I was like, bro, my boy Justin is true to his word, bro. I loved it, man.
We handled that, man.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing, bro.
It was a good episode.
There were struggles, man, but I went in with the whole, like I said it at the opening line. I don't know if they put it, but I have no survival. I'm in no which way, shape, or form a survivalist. But I'm just here to show that being positive and optimistic can get you anywhere. And that's really all it is. 21 days for sure. I don't know about 40 days. If I do a 40 day, who knows? But so far as 21 days, man, it's like working out. If you're doing a circuit, man, you can do anything for 60 seconds, man. You can do anything for 5 minutes. Yeah. You can. And you just got to keep having that mindset every day. And to me, it was just like, I'm just going to show that this is a mindset, man.
Yeah.
You could see people with the craziest skills break. And a lot of people break is like the hunters, man. The hunters are the people who break because they come in, I'm a provider. Yeah. And they're so used to having all these advantages out at home in the wild, like all the cameras and scopes and scents and different things that when they get out there, they don't get anything. And then all of a sudden it goes, shit, my identity is gone. What am I? Who am I? What can I get? And that's just my basic analysis of the stats I've seen across the 18 seasons, 17, because we're on the 18th. 17 seasons is hunters are the ones that really have that identity flip. Some of them crush it. Some of them are really good, but I think that demographic is the one that really breaks because they go in with expectations. And that's what really gets you is like going with no expectations, going with the mindset that whatever you get is a blessing and just fucking keep crushing it every day. And that's all you can do.
I think it was a mixture of both. And that's what made me think you weren't going to make it when I first watched the show, dude, to be honest with you. I was like, he openly said, I got zero fucking like survivalist skills. And I'm like, fuck, he ain't going to make it. And then I was like, and then after the show kept going, I was like, oh shit, he might fucking make it. Then when I saw Malik tap out, I was like, holy shit, boy, Justin's going to make it. Like, I was fucking fired up, bro. So kudos to you, dude. It was a fucking amazing show.
It was great. Episode. What happened to Malik? Do they keep him in a certain spot till the 21 days is up, or do they have to send him back to? He
has to go get
Seattle?
I'm assuming he has to get medical check, right, and all that shit.
We demanded medical check for us. There was a kissing bug out there. If you look it up, like kissing bug is like fucking bad, dude. It's like one of the worst like hidden diseases, like tropical diseases that nobody researches because it's in these little villages that like nobody cares about. And so what it is, it's like a bug that'll bite you around your mouth. That's why it's called the kissing bug. And like you might get a reaction and you might not get a reaction. So you don't know if you got bit by it. And then there's no symptoms or anything. For the majority of people, don't get symptoms. And in 20 to 30 years, you'll just die of heart failure. And that's it.
Holy shit, bro.
So that's pretty cool, right? So Laura and I had both looked it up before we went out there. And we're like, dude, what the fuck? This is like, why? Like, this is, and the things they're attracted to, how they study these things when people do study them.
Yeah.
They go out into the middle of the jungles and they shine a flashlight on the ground and they attract to light and heat. Just so happens we sleep next to a fucking fire.
Yeah.
So it was scary, dude. Like, just thinking like you have no choice. Like, at any moment, you just don't know. Wait, maybe I got bit last night. Maybe I didn't. Who knows? Like,
do they have a way of testing for that shit though?
No, testing is, like I said, like they don't care. People don't care because it's in impoverished areas. And so you can get it in Miami, I think, because that's a lot of tropical areas come from there. And then you go out to these tropical countries and get it. So we're like, we want to get this ASAP. And I think what the window is from when you get bit, you have 2 weeks. And this could be just like bullshit, but from what I have heard and seen is from when you get bit, you have 2 weeks to decide your treatment course. So hopefully we didn't get bit in week 1 because then we're fucked. So hopefully that we get bit somewhere in week 2. So you go out, you get your test done, and I guess what you can do now, maybe things have progressed, but at least what I heard at the time was you have a choice. You can take this medicine that they have that basically alters your DNA a little bit, like throws literally just spikes in it, alters it. So you get cancer. You know what cancer you're going to get. You just get cancer. But you won't die of heart failure. So that's sick, right? So you have a choice. What do you want? Do you want to possibly die of heart failure in 20 or 30 years? Or do you want some sort of cancer? It's inevitable. And that's pretty much your choice. And you have to decide that in the first, basically before 2 weeks is up to start the treatment. And yeah. So luckily we got out and we immediately were like, dude, we want to get tested. Let's figure this out. Luckily, neither of us had it. We got to go away safe. Malik, I don't know what he did, if he got tested for anything or whatnot, or if he got a med check. I think he left like immediately. I'm not sure. I think they immediately just get him out. I don't know.
I asked that question because we talk about not being able to tell anybody, right? So when Malik goes home after only being gone for a week, it's what's going on. So
he'd have to have a conversation with his doctor though, dude. Like the NDA is not going to cover that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying
nobody would know he's on.
Yeah.
He's on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the kind of thing you just can't really just roll back home like after 8 days and be like, hey, by the way, I'm home. Guess what?
Yeah.
My assumption is he probably went to the medic, got everything tested out, and then they put him up somewhere, I would assume, just to be out of the way. And he got a vacation for 2 weeks. Yeah,
because we're allowed to tell our loved one, like I think it comes down to one loved one. So you could tell your wife or your spouse or like your closest family member. And so we could tell them that. And like in my head, it's a really interesting way to realize the reality of this is like with your loved one, you like WhatsApp. I don't know if you use WhatsApp. Do you use WhatsApp?
Yeah.
You have the blue ticks, right? When you send a message, you get blue ticks. And so she would be like, oh, like, I want to see your message. I want to talk to you. Like, we want to talk, right?
Yeah.
But then it's, oh shit, no, I don't. Because if I see these ticks go blue, it's only bad news. And to think about that, you want to talk to this person so bad. If you see these ticks go, what you want most is to communicate with me, to see if I'm okay. But if you see those ticks go blue, it's the worst possible fucking scenario. And so it's like, at the same time, you probably open your phone every day. She goes and like, oh shit. Oh, they're gray. Oh, they're gray. Like the fact that I am unaccessible is the best. It's a really weird way to see it. And so coming back to reality it's a very funny thing to be like, oh my God, the checks are blue. It's a weird little nuance. And like, when I'm out there, I'm like, dude, I wish I could just let her know I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm fucking killing it. Like every night we're sleeping 9 hours a night. But you imagine someone in that scenario, you're thinking, oh, they're probably cold. They're struggling. They're getting eaten by bugs. And we watched the show before. People struggle. And just thinking, damn, dude, like people are probably worrying about me. You know what I mean? That's pretty rough to think about. You're like, I wish I could just let them know I'm okay. But then I just go back into the moment and I'm like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
No, but I can totally relate. Like the sleep thing was so freaking powerful. But when I grieved my mom, I fucking found a 5-person encampment with the porta potty. And I was like, some of the best sleep I've ever gotten in a 1-person tent with a sleeping bag and a fucking fireplace, dude.
Yeah.
Like the best, bro. Like the fucking best. You go to sleep when the fucking sun goes down, you have a fire, you got a book, you fucking, I'm just going to sleep. And then you wake up to fucking birds chirping and shit. It's fucking amazing, dude.
I miss it, man.
But I still would not do Naked and Afraid, but fuck that.
I miss it every day, man. I think about going back out camping again just to go.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, camp with food though, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And clothes.
Shit, man. Thanks for coming on and talk to us about it.
Yeah.
I wanted to catch you soon enough so you don't get too tired of talking about this.
Yeah.
With everything.
It's always fun. With you guys, man, it could be in the year, we'd still roll like this.
Yeah. You probably go for another 2 hours or shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sweet, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
This has been an international podcast transmission of No Fixed Agenda presented by Bubs Naturals. Music was provided by the Poor Dirty Astronauts with lyrics written by Matt Meyer. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcast episodes. NFA, over and out.